Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
It's a cool vibe in the room already, Cubby. I felt it right when I walked in the building.
That's better than most Fridays for you. That's good.
It's a cool vibe. It's that final day of the work week type of a vibe. I thought I smelled some marijuana in the hallway.
Is it coming off of you?
Well, it could be.
You're telling me a story off air about you're staying at a place right now where there's a lot of marijuana going on.
It could be coming off my clothing, but
Stuck in your nose?
I don't know. It's either, coming off of my clothes or maybe someone. I thought I smelled it in the hallways here. To me, that says everyone's looking to chill out and make this a nice ending to the work week. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We got our homie Derek filling in again on the soundboard, filling in for Dana, who's off summers in Mexico with his latest wife. Running a little late over there, huh, son?
Yeah, cutting it close, man.
Day 3. That's what happens. We told you were going to deteriorate the longer you do this.
It was like the one thing I didn't want to do this week was pulling Ashley, and here I am.
I love that you're calling it pulling an Ashley.
You're messing with our vibe, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, when I walked in the building, I felt this chill vibe. I believe I smelled dope. And then you're ruining it with your racing in at the last minute kind of a thing.
I certainly wasn't doing it intentionally, man. I woke up at all the normal times and then woke up again when about 2 seconds before Ashley called me. And I was like, oh, my God.
Oh, that's a bad feeling.
Started fingering that snooze button a little bit.
Yep. So.
Do you have, what was this I was just looking at? Do you have bedtime procrastination?
Ordinarily, I do. This week it's been just kind of, as you know, I have a sleep disorder.
True.
So I tend to just fall asleep where I fall asleep. And I'm also, working a full day after we're done.
Yeah, it's been a tough week for you.
Yeah, no naps.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've shown you have true grit this week.
Well, thank you, man. I'm trying.
Sleep disorder. You have a sleep disorder? The apnea?
I do, yes, the apnea.
The friggin' apnea. Everybody's got it. Spreading through town like friggin' COVID.
I have a real nasty case. The doctor told me my throat is perfectly designed for snoring.
Do you use one of the masks?
I do, yeah, but I hate it.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
How long have you used that?
Oh God, years now.
Oh, and you're still not really used to it, huh?
Yeah. No, it's a pain, and I take it off in the middle of the night half the time. But my case is too bad to get that surgical implant thing. So.
Oh, I was going to mention.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Can I borrow yours because I was shut down at the sleep study? What do you call that? There's a term for it. The sleep
center.
Center, yes. I went to a sleep center where they study you to find out whether you are worthy of a sleep apnea machine or not. And they said to me, no, you cannot have a sleep apnea machine. And I've wanted one for years because I truly believe I need one. But they said, no, you're not as bad as you need to be. So I'd like to borrow yours and try it out.
Yeah, if you bring your own mask, you just need the little suction thing at the end.
I haven't seen one in person. You'd have to show me.
Yeah.
That sucks that they wouldn't just give you one. Everybody that I've heard that goes and does the study, they're like, yeah, here's a machine.
Maybe
there you go.
I ran into a tough group or something like that who's a little more strict about it. But bedtime procrastination, I was just reading about. Oh, this is me. Well, at least this used to be me.
I've gone through this in my life for sure.
If you're not certain what it means, I mean, it kind of spells itself out, bedtime procrastination. The psychological habit of delaying sleep, even when you're beat ass tired, to reclaim a sense of personal time. And that is perfectly put to describe how I operated for many, many, many years, even though I knew it would be best for me to probably crawl into the sack around 9:30, 10, even 10:30. I would push it till 11, 11:15, 11:30, because it was only at the end of the night where I would finally just get just me with a TV and some peace and quiet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep.
You're mad how busy your day was.
Right, and your
you're
night.
Yeah, and you're exhausted. So but even so, you're like, I got to enjoy a little bit of this.
Right.
Day. Yeah, I've been there myself several times.
That is me every night.
So
Is it?
Yeah,
you're
same
still
here.
you still run that route every night, Derek,
like-
Ashley.
Yep.
I fell asleep during the Laker game last night at woke up on the couch at like midnight, went to bed, set the alarm for 3:30, woke up, and then woke up again at 5. So there you go.
I'm curious about, so back to this sleep apnea machine. I'm curious about this because you're, what's the word? A whore. So when you bring home like new ladies and stuff like that, do you not use it those nights? Or?
Well, here's the thing: is that I always felt like it would be really awkward, but you know what turns out to be really awkward is snoring super loud.
Yeah,
so,
you can't win.
So generally, it's appreciated if the mask is worn.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be super angry if I spent a night with a guy and all of a sudden he's snoring and I would get up and leave. So, hey, there you go. Maybe that could be your strategy.
Well,
Most women will probably leave.
Derek, if you were dating college girls, I could see how they would turn and say, "Ew, you have a sleep apnea machine." You know what I mean? But you're not a kid anymore. You're dating fully mature women who understand that as everyone gets older, they might need a pill or an apparatus of some sort to get themselves to
Well,
sleep.
and it was getting to the point where, like, sometimes the next morning or whatever, they'd be like, "You need to go see a doctor." You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Like,
The snoring was
yeah.
so bad?
yeah.
Because you probably stopped breathing.
Because they stopped breathing and it freaks them out. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is every woman I've known over the last 20 years has told me it's frightening to watch you sleep.
Yeah.
Because of the breathing comes to a stop. And then there's, 10, 15 seconds, and then it starts up again. And I took all that information to this sleep study joint, and they looked me up and down and still said no. So I don't know. I'm going to end up pulling a Reggie White,
I think
and
you
just-
ought to think about going back, honestly,
I don't
from
know.
the way it sounds.
And the snoring, too.
Yeah.
I take pride in that, though. I really do. That I can rattle the friggin' walls with my snoring. I do.
You know what probably doesn't help you, Nick, is you've mentioned this before. You sleep like a corpse, and I've seen it, where you have your arms folded over you.
Yes.
Like if you see somebody killed in an old Western and they have an open casket.
I got the pennies on my eyes.
That's
yeah.
kind of
Undertaker.
Yeah. That's what
Oh,
you look
yeah.
like.
I raise up like the
Yeah.
like when the Undertaker kicks out at 2. Well, yeah. I really enjoyed those days, though. I don't really do this to myself anymore, but I really enjoyed those nights where I'd say to myself, so what if it's 11:15? I'll get 4 hours sleep. So what if it's 12:15? I'll get 3 hours sleep. And you continue to sit there and watch a movie or whatever. That was fun for me. But you pay a price after a while, especially if you include beer drinking in there. You pay a price after a while, and I try not to play that game anymore.
Got a text here that says, bedtime procrastinating, have kids and you'll know all about it. Damn kids. Yeah, that's a big part of it too, right?
They don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, exactly. You got to fight for bedtime every night. Funny how that changes when you get older and you just can't wait. There's been times where my alarm goes off and I'm doing the math to see when I could be in bed again.
Yeah.
I procrastinate falling asleep, but I try to get into bed around 7:38 because I like having those 2-3 hours to just be in bed.
Oh, I hear you. All right, so there you go. Derek made it in. You want to talk about a low-key vibe? That's how I was describing the vibe in the building when I walked in this morning, and I dig it. It's the way it should be on Fridays. You want to talk about a low-key vibe? The wife and I are headed out to the Air Supply show tonight over there at Mystic Lake Casino. We go every year to see Air Supply.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's fun.
Wonder if there's any other airheads.
Is she into Air Supply or?
Oh, yeah,
she
that's why
supports
we're
you?
going, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was more of a you thing.
No, she was the one who said, let's go see Air Supply a couple years ago. And I was in, just for a goof. And when I saw him live, I thought, well, this is a lot of damn fun. So we go see him every year. If there are any other airheads in our listening audience, we're at 651-989-9393. Maybe the most interesting portion of the show is when if you're not familiar with Air Supply, they got a really big guy lead singer and a really little guy lead singer. And they've been doing this together for 60 years or something, right? The most interesting portion of the show is the big guy stays on stage alone. The little guy ducks out of the mix for a little while to go back into the backstage area and drink some tea or whatever. It takes care of his voice. So the big guy's on stage alone, and he does something you'll likely never get from any other band. He reads the crowd some of his own poetry.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's really adorable.
He does. Just like Andrew Dice Clay used to do for us back in his prime. He reads us some of his own homemade poetry. A little bit of a different vibe, what Dice delivered, but there is live poetry, and they pump out the hits, and women in their 50s and 60s are squirming in their seats.
I'd imagine that might help you go to sleep if somebody's up on stage reading some poetry. Doesn't seem like your vibe.
They do have comfortable chairs at that Mystic Lake, too. I mean, you can get comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
And,
that is nice.
Air Supply plays all the soft rock stuff. I mean, yeah, if you want to catch an hour-and-a-half nap, that's not a bad place for it.
I'm not fat. I'm aerodynamic. Jesus said the way you sleep, Nick, you need more Air Supply. So good thing you're going.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do.
You said it's at Mystic, but you don't really gamble, right?
No.
So you're not going to do any of that?
No. We'll walk in, have something to eat, see the show, get the hell out of there before the S hits the fan. So can anyone top that with what you've got cooking this weekend?
We got a family dinner. That's about
Family dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does sound pretty nice.
Tacos. I mean, like those.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing anything too crazy.
What about-
I guess I'm going out to a fancy dinner tonight. That's exciting.
Is it with Josh's family?
No. It's at my favorite restaurant, actually, that exists in Minnesota, the Butcher's Tail.
Favorite restaurant that exists in Minnesota?
Yeah, I absolutely love that place. I wish I could go there every single day. Derek, have you ever been there? That seems like a place you would go to.
I sure have. I went a lot more in the sort of original incarnation of the Butcher's Tail when it was the Butcher and the Boar.
Yep.
But I've definitely been a couple of times as Butcher's Tail as well.
It's funny you bring that up, Ashley, because, Derek's been here 10 years, and I grew up in Minneapolis, spent 24 years there, lived here my entire life, no plans to move. And I have to ask Derek for fancy restaurant recommendations, like for my anniversary and stuff like that. And he's technically the new guy compared to me. He knows all these joints. That's the difference, I guess, when you're single. You go to that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I like
that's
to
true.
eat, too,
You got
so,
dates and stuff.
Yeah. I'm paying attention to that stuff.
What are you doing this weekend? You have a date? What did I hear? You're the guy that probably has something cool planned this week.
This is a relatively chill weekend for me because I've been running all over. I went to New York at the beginning of the week, and so I'm probably going to watch a lot of basketball.
After what we've put you through, you probably need a down night.
I got lunch, with the other boss guy around here today,
Oh, yeah?
and then
James?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
He's a good dude.
that's pretty much it.
Another boss has already emailed the big man, Marv.
Oh,
Thinks you sound good. He wants to fire you as a boss and have you be a part of the morning show.
every day.
I might have added something like, you should see the look on his face every day, his schedule.
It's not what it appears to be. So, I'll get some live homemade poetry tonight on stage at the Air Supply show.
Hi, podcast friend. Sorry. Looks like we played some music on the show today that we need to remove. I don't get it either. My apologies for this brief interruption. Thank you for listening to the podcast. And now back to the show.
Stryper asked the crowd to pray with them at their concerts they still do, I think. Stryper, if you're not familiar, a very religious 80s rock band.
Did you pray?
No, I was uncomfortable with that.
Well, we both
I get that.
bought a vehicle from a guy who we prayed. Well, I don't know if you did, but I prayed with
Boy,
before
I forgot
drove
about
off.
that guy.
I was not expecting that.
We both bought a car from a car salesman, obviously, who before he handed over the keys, he said a prayer.
Yeah, he mentioned something about. He said something about he sometimes does that, And I just thought, oh, that's cool, that he does. But I didn't realize he meant we're going to be doing this right now. So we bowed our head and he said a little prayer.
I remember that.
Driving safety.
That's a long time ago.
I mean, that's nice and all, but I would be incredibly uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was too.
I don't need that, I like the guy and everything, very nice guy, but I'm not going to bow my head and pray just because you got me a decent deal on a Toyota,
He screwed me over, actually.
Yeah. Did he really?
Yeah. Big time.
Oh, come on.
That's kind of how that works.
Yeah. Well, you're thinking, what a honorable guy. I mean, he was in the military. He was a pastor, and you think you can't get any better than this. But yeah, he screwed me over.
Well, a lot of the people that I know that never miss church on Sundays are some shady bastards from Monday through Saturday.
Well, I've seen that myself because you think, well, I'm going to go Sunday, I'll be forgiven, and I can be a dickhead the rest of the week.
Yep.
Striper, To Hell with the Devil, 1986.
Boy, this reminds me of middle school. We'd be blasting this in my friend's basement playing Sega Genesis.
It's adorable.
And the parents, if they're not listening to the lyrics, they're thinking, well, these kids are into some terrible hard rock. And meanwhile, the lyrics are saying, love Christ and this and that.
See,
right?
except for the hell and the devil part, right? That one caused some controversy with people not really realizing what their whole gimmick was.
There was controversy over
The hell and the devil. Because, if a kid wore a shirt that said "to hell with the devil," they'd see the hell and the devil. And think,
right. Yeah,
oh, my gosh, what's going on?
immediately
Satanists.
assume the worst. Yeah, that threw me the first time I went to a Striper show, and towards the end of the show, they wanted everyone to be quiet and everyone to hold hands while they prayed. And they didn't serve any liquor at those shows.
Was it like one of those Baptist prayers with like the snakes and the?
I got to be honest with you, Derek. I don't really remember because I was just uncomfortable and kind of looking around at everyone else.
Yep.
I was looking for someone else to look at me as if to say, "Is this really happening?" But the majority of the crowd was quite dialed into this. So it's almost like I was alone. Feeling strange about this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that Christian rock, that stuff, pretty popular.
Well, yeah. I mean, at least Striper had their time.
Were you aware? Did somebody say ahead of time, hey,
Yeah.
they do have prayers during this thing?
No. No, I don't think I was aware before the concert that we were going to be praying together. I thought you were going to ask if I was aware the first time I heard them that they had a Christian message. Yes, somebody dumped that info on me and said, hey, this band really is tight and sounds great, but just for the record, they don't sing about hookers in the Sunset Strip and doing blow. They sing about the Lord.
One of my least favorite things is when I am with somebody's family that I'm not too familiar with for dinner, and then they pray beforehand because I have no idea what I'm doing.
I don't know the words.
And everybody else knows them perfectly.
Well, they do it every night.
And I forget what way the cross goes when you tap your forehead and your chest.
I get lost there too. Yes.
I feel like people are like, oh, this sinner, she has no idea. I'm like, I'm sorry, I wasn't raised that way.
It goes Father, Son, Holy Ghost, whoever eats the fastest gets the most.
I'll remember that.
That's the traditional Catholic prayer.
When you were growing up, Derek, were you a pray before dinner family?
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
No, we never got dialed into that. I understand where you're going with that, Ashley. It's been a long time since I've been at someone else's house where they prayed before their meal, but it is something I remember just a couple times when I was a kid. And, yeah, I remember thinking to myself, I hope they don't call on me because I don't know the words.
I bet that's weird. I grew up doing that, so we always did, so it wasn't strange. And a lot of my friends, if not all of my friends, families, same thing. They would do that.
Really?
Even like restaurants, everything.
Sure, when you'd go out in public even.
Yep.
What was it, a quick one, or was it?
Yeah, usually very quick. Unless it was some sort of religious holiday, then we'd get a little longer.
All right. So you knew all the words.
Yeah.
You knew all the moves.
Yep.
Oh, man.
But I can imagine being on that side, Ashley, where you're not used to it. It's got to be kind of awkward.
Yeah,
and I love you don't know which way it goes.
It happens so fast, too, that if they looked up for a second, they would see just a lost look on my face. My eyes are wide open. I'm still wondering if I should be holding somebody's hand.
Police car building Jesus said the last couple times seeing Three Doors Down, the lead singer does a quick prayer mid-show. And he said the reaction is extremely positive.
Oh.
I hadn't heard that.
Well, everybody's got their thing. But like I was saying, a lot of those I never miss church on Sunday people that I know. Woo-wee, Monday through Saturday, I don't trust those bastards. They'll just roll right over you. What else is going on? We'll talk to Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder at 7:30. And we certainly hope that most of you in our listening audience are looking at your final for the work week, because I'm sure you've earned it.
Absolutely.
Here's a question.
Good work on text this week, I can tell.
They've been working hard on text?
Some good stuff.
I got a text message here from Better Than Dana at Mario Kart Jesus. Have I seen the new Naked Gun movie trailer? No, I have not. And it upsets me.
Oh, not just you. The director of the new one the original is pretty pissed about it.
It upsets me that the Naked Gun movie franchise is being remade because I loved it so much in its original form. So was it the Zucker boys or something?
Yeah, he was really upset. He said he wishes he didn't watch the trailer, wishes he could have that time back. They just released a trailer for it. Liam Neeson is going to star.
As Frank Drebin.
Yes, as Frank Drebin. Here's a clip.
Multiple SWAT units responding to hostage situation.
What do you want?
You're
Who are you?
Frank Drebin, Police Squad. The new version.
But the original director, he had submitted an idea for a new one in the past, and it was turned down, and the studio said, no, we're going to go in a different direction, and this is the direction they went.
This isn't a serious movie, is it?
No.
That it's supposed to be
still
funny.
kind of like a Naked Gun movie, what you might expect.
Airplane, Naked Gun type of humor. Okay.
Yeah.
So the dudes who, oh God, I mean the original. Are you a fan at all, Derek?
I am, and I gotta say, I haven't seen the trailer. I have no idea if the jokes will be funny.
Right.
But I think Liam Neeson is a good choice to be Frank Drebin.
He's a very talented guy.
Yeah, he can be very funny.
Absolutely.
Right. And you're kind of that role. You're kind of the straight guy in the middle of all of the stuff happening. So I think he's gonna have the right tone. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll see. I mean, he is a very talented guy. I don't think I've seen him in a comedic role, but anyway, probably the most fun I ever had in a movie theater was this 88 or 89. It was 88. Naked Gun comes out, the original movie. And, of course, I had seen the television show, too, Police Squad, before the movie series began in 88. Police Squad was very funny. Me and 8-10 buddies went out to the Excelsior Docks Theater, which is still there, to see the Naked Gun. And the entire theater was choked with high school age kids. And it was so funny to the point where, and the crowd was so engaged, like it was happening live on stage in front of them and not on a movie screen. That's how engaged we were. To where, remember the scene, Josh, where all hell is breaking loose and Frank Drebin is falling all over himself, and somehow a player piano begins playing while he's bumbling around. Do you recall that scene?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a player piano playing. All of us in the movie theater are clapping along to the player piano music. I mean, that's how dialed in, roaring the entire time. So, I mean, I have unbelievable fond memories of that movie series. And so, it's near and dear to me. Like a lot of yous, I'm sure all of yous have had a movie series get remade now, and it kind of pisses you off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's too much. I mean, there's a lot of pretty bright people. There's a lot of great books they can make movies on. And, I guess studios don't want to take risks.
Just let it rest.
Right. There's a built-in advantage, right, to these things that people know and love in terms of if you're going to spend $200 million to make a movie, you want to get that money back, right? So if you take the Transformers or Barbie or Naked Gun, you've got a leg up on an original concept.
Yeah, there's less of a risk.
Well, we know that Leslie Nielsen can't make a cameo, nor can O.J. Simpson.
They do make a reference to O.J. Simpson.
They do?
Yeah, so it's in the movie. Maybe they'll do more of that.
Is it possible that Priscilla Presley makes a cameo in the new Naked Gun movie?
I thought is she alive?
I
thought she passed. Maybe
okay.
not.
Her daughter's an actress.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like that's doing kind of all right. Maybe she's in it.
There's another trailer that was just released called Gunslingers, starring Nicolas Cage, and people are talking about the character voice that he chose to use.
Okay.
The stable boy said I should ask for Jericho.
Jericho will be back soon. This is interesting. This book. This Bible. You should try it. Read it. It's good.
I'm looking for Thomas Keller.
Hang on a second.
He's not here. 6 feet under this mark in the graveyard. Hung for murder months ago.
Interesting choice.
What is happening?
Doesn't it sound like you're doing a joke?
What?
Well, I mean, is he portraying someone who's had a stroke?
I couldn't tell you.
Dude.
But that's the voice he's using in the movie.
That must have spent him on a daily
I bet
basis.
that hurt.
No, he looks normal. He looks like a typical cowboy.
Portraying someone who's had throat cancer, portraying someone who's...
Gilf, she just watched the trailer and laughed out loud. Yeah.
Huh.
Dude, oh my God.
It is not Red Fox.
Yeah.
Shaka Messiah Jesus, that's true. It sounds like Red Fox.
It does sound like Red Fox. Priscilla Presley
very
is,
alive, very alive.
Still alive, born in 1945. Okay.
I'm looking at the IMDb for the new Naked Gun.
Yeah.
And it appears that the lead female role is played by Pamela Anderson.
No way.
Is that right?
Yep.
Well, that I like the sound of that. I do.
I love her.
Cody Rhodes and Busta Rhymes also apparently in this movie.
Busta Rhymes. Oh, yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't picture Buster Rhymes. I remember the name, but I'm certainly familiar with Cody Rhodes. He's the American Nightmare, for Christ's sake. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm bothered by it because the Naked Gun series means so much to me. But maybe it won't be that terrible. That theater that night, there were three movies I've gone to in my life where the crowd was just as entertaining as the movie. Naked Gun, Roadhouse. Oh, crowd was going crazy the entire time. And The Adventures of Ford friggin' Fairlane, where the crowd was, back to Dice. Dice's first major motion picture where the crowd was so rowdy, it was just... it made it that much more fun.
Dumb and Dumber was like that for me when I saw that in theaters.
I've never saw a movie in theaters where it's been like that, where the crowd is so engaged.
You don't see it that much anymore.
No.
Snakes on a Plane was like that for me.
Oh, I bet.
Everyone screaming
so
at the screen and having a good
throwing
time.
like people brought snakes and like threw them and stuff.
Oh man,
did they really? Yeah, it was a thing.
It's like a miniature
Cool.
version of what do they call that? The Rocky Balboa horror picture show. What is that? Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, Friday morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Like I mentioned, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will swing by a little bit later to have some laughs with us. For now, we'll take a little breaky break and come back with the stupid news here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Idly ho, neighborinos.
93X.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, you dirty bastards. Our final for the week, as far as the stupid news report goes. You guys know how it is. We live in a day and age where we would rather sidearm wet feces at each other to settle disputes as opposed to having a face-to-face conversation like a grown adult. It's a damn shame. Damn shame we operate that way. In a place called Summit County, Colorado, a lady called the cops to report that an unknown man has been throwing bags full of dog doo-doo pies into her yard and onto her driveway.
It's unpleasant.
Throwing bags full of dog into her yard, onto her driveway. She said this has been going on, skis, what did she say, for the past month. So the cops figured they'd ask around the neighborhood to see if anyone knew who the low-life prick with the turd bags might be. While talking to folks, quite a few of the lady's neighbors told the police that the lady, the target of all the flying feces bags, is notorious in the neighborhood for failing to pick up her own dog's turd piles. Apparently, when she walks her dog around town, she doesn't do a damn thing when it drops a warm one onto her neighbor's yards. And one person interviewed by the cops said that he heard there was one guy in the hood who was, quote, on a crusade against those who do not pick up after they dogs.
A noble crusade.
Says here, the investigation into the situation is ongoing, but the cops let the lady know that she is likely being targeted due to not picking up after her dog. At least one guy has dedicated his free time to launching poo bags onto her property.
I would hate to be known as that woman in the neighborhood.
She calls the cops, and in the end, it kind of comes full circle to where they told her, look, lady, I mean, this ain't right what's being done to you, but it's a revenge story. I find it very interesting that people come uncorked over dog turds the way they do. Growing up, at least in my neighborhood, nobody cared where dogs took a deuce. We never cared if a dog came into our yard and dropped one. That's just what dogs do. Now people will swing machetes at each other over a turd dropped on their lawn. I personally don't understand.
I remember my mom slightly complaining about it when I was younger, but not to this degree. Like, it was always, if it was somebody that did it repetitively, like it was always our yard, then she would point it out, like, oh, there goes their dog again. But she would never go out there and yell at them or call somebody about it.
It's one of the top beefs, it seems to me at least. This is really important to people.
I'll go the other way on this. See, I think you don't want a turd where a turd should not be. Like, if you're at the dog park and there's a stray turd, okay, fine, that's what happens. But, like, if you're on the sidewalk and there's a stray turd, that's a problem. If you're not picking up after your dog and they're in someone else's yard, that's a turd where a turd should not be.
What if you forget a bag?
Who forgets a bag when they're walking the dog?
I always do.
But there was no such thing as a bag back in the day. I never cared. We never cared.
We invented these things called bags to pick up the turds.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, why did it become such a problem?
Have you ever stepped in one?
Yeah, sure I did.
Sucks.
Our house is a prime target. We're right in the middle of the block, so seems like dogs, they get halfway down, think, oh, this is where we're going to go, and people pick it up. But if there were, for the amount of dogs in our neighborhood and the amount of times it gets pooped in our yard, that would get kind of frustrating if it was every single day and nobody's picking it up.
And your kid plays out in your yard too, so I could see that being not ideal.
All right, well, all I'm saying is if you guys are in my neighborhood with your dog and your dog needs to take a deuce, Put the peckerhead in my front yard. I do not care.
You'll never know because I'll have a bag.
You don't have to use the bag. Leave the bags at home.
The last time
dogs run into our yard all the time as kids and drop a coiler, and it never cared.
The last time I took my dog for a walk, I completely forgot a bag until he was in the process of trying to find a spot. And I ended up finding like some type of grass that wasn't anybody's front lawn. And I kind of like tucked behind a bush for him. And then after he did his business, we ran because I didn't want to get yelled at.
You'd know if you're not popular in the neighborhood if there was a bunch of poop in your yard and it was already bagged up. They just say, F this guy. We're going to throw this bag poop on his yard.
Here's a text from Faribault CPA Jesus. If Nick had dogs crapping in his yard on a daily basis, he'd quickly have an issue with it. No, I would not, dude. I would not. I do not care if a dog dumps in my yard. I do not care if it happens every day.
I will say I do believe you when you say that.
Yeah,
I don't think
I don't care. I'll go out and pick it up. That's what dogs do. They take a dump on the lawn. So what?
Now,
who cares if it's not your dog?
Josh has very large dogs, right?
I do, yeah.
Like I imagine they leave pretty large piles behind.
I would assume there's a man in our neighborhood with a drinking problem or something. If your dogs were duking in my yard, because
we get that. Yeah, I clean it up every day. If I don't, we got 2 of them. They go a couple times a day. It's ridiculous. If you go a few days, it's out of control. It's embarrassing.
That sucks. We have 3 dogs, and we only have to go out there once a week.
What if a person pooped in my yard every day? Someone wants to know. That would be different because that's not what people do. People use toilets. Dogs use yards.
See, that's a turd where a turd should not be.
You are right. If a guy is pulling his drawers down and cutting a cigar in my yard every day, then I have a problem because you're right. That's a turd where a turd should not be. Here's a listener saying, when I was younger, my mom got so mad at a guy in the neighborhood that let his dog crap in our yard that she would scoop it up with a shovel and chase him down the street with it.
I think it's reasonable to be frustrated with that. If somebody's dog's pooping in your yard every day.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not going to bag it up and throw it on their lawn or anything, but if they walk by, I might just say, hey, is there any way you could get a bag? Can I buy you some bags or something?
I get it. I'm just saying it doesn't bother me. That's all.
There's some people wanting to know your address because their dog's got to go.
Yeah. Come on by. Naked guy on the beach, Cubby. Yeah,
Never seen it. I take that back. I have just like, but where it was supposed to, like turds where they're supposed to be, it was a nude beach, so you'd expect people to be nude there.
Yeah, you saw a naked guy on a nude beach.
Yeah, so that's different. Thankfully, never at one, like a family beach somewhere.
What does this say? Naked guy on the beach. Which, like we were just discussing, that's cool at a nude beach. But that wasn't the case here. In the awful, unlivable Gator state, a 60-year-old man got taken off to jail for going rod out at a no rods allowed beach. And it's always the older folks, isn't it?
It seems that way, doesn't it?
It certainly is. There's some kind of deep down sexual repression thing happening with the older generation. It messes with their minds and it makes them pull their gear out for you.
I think they just stopped giving a damn.
It's got to be that too, right? Because, yeah, the nude beach that I had seen, it was all older people. And
Here
mostly British.
Yeah, it was European folks. We saw way more of their bodies than we ever dreamed of when we've been on tropical islands and whatnot with the beautiful beaches. Now, this 60-year-old I was telling you about, to me, even his name sounds like indecent exposure is inevitable. His name, Martin LaBouffe. Just hearing his name makes me think I'm about to see a penis in public. Martin LaBouffe.
Yeah. Kind of picturing a guy who looks like Dudley Moore.
Yeah. You know what he kind of looks like? Oh, my gosh. Louis Anderson. Ooh. He looks a little bit like Louis Anderson.
Does he?
Yeah.
When the cops rolled up on Martin LaBouffe, he was ass naked on the beach, sitting in a chair with multiple empty beer cans laying around. New cop was in the corner, puking his guts out. Martin also had a pair of women's panties with him, but cops found no evidence of a woman anywheres. It was a crowded day at the beach, lots of kids. But it says here, fortunately, only 2 adults saw Martin's penis. The cops stuffed the women's drawers in Martin's mouth so no one could hear him scream. They beat him, and then he was arrested for exposure of broken old genitalia. Naked guy on the beach.
Pretty nasty.
That sounds bad. Having a couple of cold ones, and just figured my balls could use a little sun, I guess. But it's always the older folks.
You know, it's just they're more scary when they're naked. It adds a level. There's nothing erotic about it. It's just maybe neurotic. You think there's going to be some trouble.
When I went to that nude beach down in, what do you call that godforsaken place we were in, Josh? Jamaica. When I went over to the nude beach, you know, it was mainly people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And at the time, I think I was 30 or something. You know, like 55, 60-year-old woman would get into the pool and no one would react at all. Suddenly, out of nowhere, after a parade of 50 to 60-year-old women got in and out of the pool, suddenly out of nowhere, like a 26, 27-year-old gal got into the pool. You should have seen how many men jumped in simultaneously to swim over and say hello to her. It was somewhat disturbing.
That is creepy.
Piranhas after their prey.
Oh, God, that's what it looked like. Just, you heard this tiny little splash as the 26, 7-year-old gal jumped into the pool, and then you heard a massive simultaneous splash of all the guys jumping in. Hey, what's going on?
When I lived in San Francisco, I lived about a 10-minute walk from a nude beach.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I would say the ratio, and this is San Francisco, so, you know, gay dudes, but I'd say about 15 to 1 guy to girl.
Oof, that's a bad ratio. Yeah.
That's how most of those are, right? If not all of those. Like, if you ever look at those naked bus rides or naked bicycle rides, it's mostly guys.
Yeah, oh yeah, the naked bicycle ride. It's a sausage showdown. What do we got now? There's all types out there. Here's a guy in the state of Washington. He got himself arrested, too. He did. Word is he broke into his girlfriend's house and stole her pet chicken. Last Saturday, a lady called the cops and said, "Help, my ex-boyfriend just kicked in my door and stole my chicken." According to the lady, he's effing 50 years old, her ex. Picture this now, Ashley. The door gets kicked in. He's now inside your home. He's your ex-boyfriend. He's 50. He snatched up the chicken and then said, direct quote, "Now I've got Polly."
Oh.
Polly is the chicken's name.
No.
Polly. Yeah, that's what he said.
That's quite adorable that she keeps a chicken just in her home like that.
You think that's adorable?
I've never heard that. I've got a couple friends with chickens, and they've got pens outside.
Yeah, that's how I was when I had chickens.
Aren't chickens kind of famously hard to snatch? You got to probably take some effort to run around
Must have
and
been
grab the chicken.
very domesticated if it's living indoors.
It would probably be much easier because of them being in a more confined space. When they're out in a pen, they have plenty of room to, fly around or quick little fly to get away.
And Derek, this being her ex-boyfriend, I would imagine the chicken was somewhat familiar with him.
Oh, right, yeah, I guess that's true.
So the chicken trusted him.
He knew the name.
This guy's concerning.
But just picturing that, the door being kicked in, dude grabs a chicken and says, "Now I've got Polly." To me, it plays out like a Family Guy cutaway. That's what I'm seeing in my head. Eventually, the local police found the guy. There he was, as a fully grown 50-year-old man, hiding in the woods, holding Polly the chicken hostage.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, maybe you had to be there, and I wish I was. Check this out. You can't make this up. Apparently, cops yelled out to the guy. They said, "Show us your hands." And the dude said, I can't. I'm holding a chicken.
Show me your hands. That's fine. Just hold your chicken. Don't hurt my chicken. I'm not going to hurt your chicken. Stand up. Relax, Lamar. I'm going to have you put the chicken in here for a second.
He loves that chicken.
What a bitch. That's not your chicken.
Was he crying like a child?
Yeah. I mean, the video's disturbing. He's not choking, but he's squeezing this chicken.
Right.
And he loves that chicken.
Really? He loved it that much?
It sure seemed that way. A concerning amount, yes.
Is he a chicken effer?
Well, I was going to ask Ashley. She made that point yesterday about a guy who loved to steal bull. Did you watch the video, Ashley? I know you posted it.
Yeah, I did. And he has a weird attachment to this chicken.
Yeah, it's a bit concerning.
This guy's a chicken effer. What terrible Rob Zombie movie was it where there was a conversation where one guy says, "Are you calling me a chicken effer?"
I've only seen one. I saw his Halloween remake, and that was it.
651-989-9393. What Rob Zombie movie is it where two grown men are arguing over who is a chicken effer? Anyway, so you heard the audio. Cops yell out to the guy, "Show us your hands." The dude says, "I can't. I'm holding a chicken." The guy yells out to the cops, "Don't you hurt my chicken." And one of the cops yells back, "I'm not going to hurt your chicken." Then he cries like a little kid. Word is, even when this jagoff was being arrested and thrown into the back of the patrol vehicle, he refused to let go of Polly the chicken. He wouldn't let it go. Wouldn't let the chicken go. Come on, man.
Devil's Rejects. Now people are saying House of a Thousand Corpses. Well, those are his movies, certainly.
They're just shouting out Rob Zombie.
I love it, but I love that they know what I'm talking about. There's just a brief scene where two men are arguing over who is a chicken effer. I love our listeners, the brother and sisterhood. They always come through.
Snot Rocket Cheeses, Derek says that chicken in the house means turds where turds are not supposed to be. So we know you're not into that.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Chickens will just spray feces for you.
Oh, they smell so bad.
Well, I had chickens for a brief period of time, and I didn't notice a smell.
Oh, really? Wow, that's surprising.
Never seen them outside of like a petting zoo of some sort.
Yeah, I had two for a brief period of time, and then one of them died, and then I gave the other one back to where it came from.
Yeah, all three of mine died, too.
Didn't I ever tell you about when I was a chicken?
I just remember the goose.
Chicken
owner.
That
was depressing.
Well,
the ducks, too. I remember the ducks.
Weren't those a gift to you?
Yes.
Chickens?
When we were tiny little kids, my dad brought home 3 ducks and a goose from a truck driving trip that he took for us kids to raise. And that was fun, although the goose died of a massive heart attack in the middle of our yard, and it was quite traumatic for all of us. The ducks. You don't like the ending of the duck story either.
No.
We raised these ducks, Derek, from little chicks, if that's what you call a baby. Ducklings. Yeah. Ducklings, of course. We raised these ducks from ducklings to adults. And, of course, my dad was just trying to teach us a little bit of responsibility. Feed these ducks. We'd put them in a little kiddie pool, and they'd swim around, and they loved us. But the idea was, eventually, we will release them to the wild, and it'll be this beautiful moment, right? So we drove to my uncle's sort of farm that he had with these 3 adult ducks, and we took them out the pickup and put them on the ground with the other wild ducks. And it was, of course, we pictured that they would just walk up, "Hey, wild ducks, we're domesticated ducks. Can we be friends?" Right?
Yeah.
Nope.
The domesticated ducks were so effing confused as to why they were walking around on the ground, because normally they were either in the kiddie pool or in this kennel that we had for them on our property. And as we walked away to leave them, they were just walking behind us.
Like, "Hey, what are you doing?
Where are you going? Why are you leaving? I don't want to be here. I don't know any of these ducks." And we drove away with them kind of trotting towards the vehicle. Like, "Well, what are you doing?"
No.
It's
So it ended up being this sad moment.
That is very sad.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude.
And, of course, my uncle was just a complete cowboy nut job. I'm guessing he probably killed them and had them for dinner that evening. The whole life lesson that our dad was trying to teach us just went into the toilet.
When I had chickens, I did my best to not become emotionally attached to them because I just knew I have a bird dog. I knew somehow something bad was going to happen eventually. And thankfully, I never did grow attached to them because he got them. He got them all.
Oh, the dog killed them.
Yeah, he, not me, somebody that I will not name, left the chicken coop door open, and so he cornered them in there, and it was just game over after that. But you can't get mad at him because he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
I don't see myself ever being emotionally attached to a chicken, but it was very easy to be emotionally attached to the ducks because, I mean, by the time we released them to the wild, they were responding to their name. They were
really?
Oh,
I didn't know chickens could do that.
No, ducks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know ducks could do that.
That is so sweet.
They were our pets. I don't know why we did that. That was such a dumb idea. Anyway, and then Josh is right. I received chickens as a gift on my 40th birthday or something as a joke from a couple of friends. And I was actually pissed.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such an inconvenience.
Yeah. And the buddy of mine said, well, don't you remember when we were at the state fair, you said out loud, wouldn't it be cool to own chickens? And I said, well, Jesus, I was probably just trying to make conversation, and I was very likely drunk. But he got me 2 chickens. I put them in a kennel. They were a total pain in the ass. After a brief period of time, it started to be kind of fun feeding them in the morning. You know, I'd give them Cheerios and bananas and whatnot, and I gave them names. And then one morning I woke up and one of them had sprayed an egg out of its ass and it had died.
Oh, my God.
In the process. And then I called this buddy of mine and I said, look, one of them died. I don't want this other stupid chicken. Where the hell did you get it? And he told me where he got it, and I brought it back.
Does that happen a lot where the chicken lays the egg and then just dies?
I don't know. I didn't know the first thing about chickens. I still don't know the first thing about chickens, despite owning them for a month or however long I had them.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I was really surprised, this being Minnesota, that your dad didn't bring you 3 ducks and a gray duck.
Oh, yeah. 3 geese and a gray duck. Right? Is that how it goes?
Duck, gray duck.
Duck, gray. Yeah. You're right.
A 3-2-0 here says chickens will also respond to their names. That I never would have guessed.
Oh, now I feel bad about what I named my chickens. There was Katrina, Fiona, and Christina.
You got a thing for at the end of a chicken's name? No, one more time?
Christina.
Are you spelling, is that C
Fiona?
with the K?
Yeah.
No, I don't get it.
And
KFC.
KFC.
Oh!
I had some fun with that. I hope they never understood that.
Somebody texted in earlier and said, well, I don't know about you guys, but I think chicken smell pretty good at KFC.
Oh, yeah.
I'm with you on that.
That place is so good.
Yeah, it is.
By the way, back to this guy who stole his girlfriend's chicken and then cried like a child when the cops arrested him for it. There are some people, they just can't get right, ever. This guy, let me wrap this up for you. Not only did he violate a restraining order when he kicked his girlfriend's door down and stole her chicken, he had just been released from jail a little over 2 hours before the incident.
Oh, he was thinking about that the whole time he was in jail.
Oh, I'm sure you're right.
The chicken was returned to the gal's place safe and sound, and Numbnuts is looking at 10 years in prison. F me running.
He's going to spend that whole 10 years thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's going to come back.
When he gets out, I wonder how long it's going to take him to end up right back where he's at.
Right. Is he going to be etching pictures of that chicken on the wall? Paulie. I love Paulie.
Yeah. Do you mind if I play that audio again?
Chicken and bananas?
Oh, no, the guy.
Oh, no. It's creepy.
It is creepy.
Show me your hands. That's fine. Just hold your chicken. I'm not going to hurt your chicken. Stand up.
Relax, Lamar.
I'm going to have you put the chicken in here for a second.
Dude.
Yeah.
Maybe jail isn't the proper place for this guy.
I agree. He needs a little more help than that, probably.
All right. What do I have left here for you? If you want to go to jail, there are plenty of ways to accomplish that. A 41-year-old guy in New York just went to jail for stealing beer and cookies. Beer and cookies, like he's a damn cross between a 10th grader and a Sesame Street character. Beer and cookies is what he stole. He busted into 2 separate stores on 2 separate nights during his ridiculous caper. Charles is the dude's name. Cookie Charles, let's call him. On his first adventure, Cookie Charles shattered the front window at a local grocery store and walked on in, and that's where he got the cookies. He upped and loaded more than $700 worth of cookies onto a cart and pushed him out of there. A couple nights later, obviously in need of something to wash all those cookies down his yapper, he snatched a few cases of beer from a different convenience store. In both cases, Cookie Charles was recognized by the employees once they got a look at their surveillance videos and whatnot. So he came into these joints often enough to where they said, well, hell, that's Cookie Charles. I know who that is.
That's a lot of cookies. I mean, because the last time I bought cookies was a while ago, but it was for a party, right?
Oh.
And at a grocery store, and they were really cheap. I think some of those specialty cookie places, it's different, but can you imagine how much? Well, did you say already it was on a flatbed cart that he pushed it out on?
Yeah, I said he loaded them onto a cart. Yeah.
Oh, it was a flatbed one?
So, yeah, he must have been quite a few.
Yeah, they usually are around like $4, I believe, so $700.
For a bunch of them, right?
Yeah.
The last time you bought cookies was a long time ago for a party? What are you don't keep sweets in the house?
Well, my wife likes sweets. She gets them sometimes.
What are you, religious or something? I love cookies.
Yeah,
I buy them about every 2 days. No word on the brand of cookies he swiped or the kind of beer he chose to steal. Cookie Charles, his next stop is in court.
I feel like beer and cookies, not a great combo.
No, it's not.
No.
I mean, it'll do, but it's not a chosen combo, I don't think, very often by grown folks.
You're getting a tummy ache.
This is a very clever joke by Gas Pipe Jesus about Cookie Charles stealing all that beer and cookies. So picture Cookie Charles at his home with mountains of beer and cookies. Gas Pipe Jesus says, what was he expecting, Kid Rock to slide down his chimney? That's a effing clever-ass joke.
That is very good.
You win the 6 o'clock hour, Gas Pipe Jesus. All right, real quick. Says here now we live in an increasingly cashless society. Sure, we all use cards.
Apple Pay, that's my favorite.
I don't even take my wallet anywhere half the time anymore.
Yeah, same here. And sometimes that backfires when places don't have Apple Pay.
Because you use a cell phone?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know how to do that yet. There are positives and negatives, Josh, to our cashless society, according to this here article. Here's what they're calling an unexpected positive. Fewer children are swallowing and choking on coins.
Yeah, I guess makes sense.
Yeah, that's good.
I got surprised when certain places weren't taking cash anymore. It seems so weird. I mean, like ballparks and stuff like that where, sorry, we don't take cash.
That was a hard adjustment for me because it never registered in my head. So the couple of games, professional games that I went to.
Sporting events.
Yeah, sporting events. I would just get out $100, $200 cash, and then go to the game, and they're like, yeah, we don't take. I'm like, what?
Right.
What am I supposed to do with this now? I have nothing in my account.
I was very confused, right? Because you'd always think, well, I got to bring cash. I'm going to be going to the game. But yeah, they don't. At least last time I went, they didn't. I'm assuming it's the same.
Yeah, maybe it's changed. I don't know.
I understand, like, say, Target Field, using cards only. It's easier, right? It's just easier. But why do they not send the beer vendor down the aisle anymore?
They don't do that?
That's probably one of the
they haven't
reasons.
done it since COVID hit town. And I understand why they stopped it when COVID hit town, because you're exchanging this and that. You don't want to catch whatever anyone else has. But still, they don't send anyone down the aisle selling beer anymore.
That stinks.
I guess I haven't even noticed.
You haven't noticed?
No.
Oh, God, I noticed immediately. Where the hell's the beer guy?
I never really bought it when I was in the stands because it always felt like it was so much more expensive.
Oh, maybe it was, and I didn't notice. Someone or another looked at hospital data from the year 2000 all the way to 20 and 22 and found that since the year 2012, there's been a significant decline in kids requiring procedures to remove objects from their throats, noses, and airways. 2012 is when contactless payments really started to gain traction all over town. So you see where they're going with that?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, when you think about paying somebody back for a dinner or whatever, most people aren't handing you cash. They're going to Venmo you or whatever it is.
Venmo.
You pick them up, you drop them, Jesus said. Go to any high school event. It's all pay online. You have to download an app, then put your credit card in. It sucks. Yeah, I've experienced that myself.
When you go to a high school game to do what?
If you instead of handing cash over or whatever, or even
to get
sometimes you have to download an app.
Oh, for the love of
the app.
Oh, and that sucks. If the kids have to buy something, then they have to take mom and dad's debit card or something with them.
People are texting saying that they are sending beer guys down the aisles at Twins games now. Well, they weren't for a very long time. I'm glad to hear that it's back. Little kids gutting coins is common, but just not as common as it used to be. One stat says that more than 75% of the foreign bodies swallowed by kids under 6 are coins.
I remember that being an issue for me when I was a child.
You would eat loose change?
Yeah, my mom would get that colander out quite a bit.
Did you ever poop out a roll of Starburst or anything?
No,
like
no.
You were
but I did actually, that reminds me. Did you guys ever hear the rumor that Starburst wrappers were edible?
No.
Well, I did, and I've eaten a lot of Starburst wrappers in my life.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was telling somebody about this the other day.
You ever notice anything in the toilet?
No.
I feel like this explains a lot.
All wrapped up.
Yeah, they were like, who told you that? I don't know, but I believed them.
Well, once you were chewing on them, it didn't dawn on you that this is not edible?
Well, they kind of dissolved in your mouth.
So it wasn't as bad as I'm picturing? It seems like that'd be miserable to try and gut that.
I don't really recall how bad it was or how difficult, but it seemed like it made sense at the time, so it must not have been that hard.
We had a little bit of a scare when my oldest, he had a dime stuck up his nose when he was about 5. A little bit of a panic there.
He stuck it on his...
Yeah, he just went straight up the nose. We ended up getting it out, but there was a moment where we thought, oh my gosh, we're going to have to go to the urgency room or
crack
something.
them open.
Ha! I'm not alone. People said that the Starburst wrapper rumor went around their middle school and high school, too. Same with Stride gum wrappers. I heard that you could eat those as well.
These are not the rumors that went around my junior high.
You're very gullible.
Oh, definitely.
Are you still to this day?
Yes.
That's funny.
So again, 75% of the foreign bodies that kids get lodged in their throat are coins. You know what the number one item was, Josh, that adults swallow?
I'm afraid to ask.
Their feelings.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Well, that's what's recommended. You bury them down and never address them.
Until one day it all boils over and you have a breakdown.
You're silly. It goes away.
The number one item that adults swallow up, their feelings, which is why I always remind you, Josh, you can talk to me if anything's bothering you.
Never would.
Talk to me, Cubby.
Never would.
Don't hold in the pain.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mick Foley. I had so many people in wrestling reach out to me, some of the biggest stars in wrestling, and Al Snow. That never gets old. But looking at that car, I'm feeling really fortunate right now. I'm very grateful, very sore, but thankful for all of you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that the hardcore legend Mick Foley's doing okay after a hell of a car wreck a few days ago. He doesn't need any more beatings in his life.
No, man. It's amazing he wasn't killed in that, much less just hurt worse.
He's been through enough. He sent out a video there to update folks on his situation. He still has his terrific sense of humor. If you're a big television wrestling fan, you'll get the joke. You heard him say it. I just wanted to take a second to thank all of you for your well wishes, your positive energy, and your prayers. I had so many people in wrestling reach out to me. I was just texting with The Undertaker a few minutes ago, and Triple H reached out. It's a pleasure to have some of the biggest stars in wrestling and Al Snow reach out to me. That's one of his best buddies, Al Snow, but that's a clever joke. He's banged up, but he's doing all right. Friggin' Foley. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. A little bit of a buzzkill when your team loses a home opener. We'll talk about the Twins here in about a half hour. Timberwolves handled their business in Brooklyn last night. The Pigs have a couple of games this weekend. Don't go anywheres. Josh's news report's coming up next.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Nice.
93X.
Nice.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
This is Women's Work with Nicole Khalil.
I would rather have the temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret. There are too many of us that we're waiting for someday, and the clock is ticking.
Redefining what it means to be doing women's work.
Make sense of this wild, chaotic, and beautiful world and your place in it. That is woman's work.
This is Women's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
5250 State versus Stephanie Demetrius. Ma'am, you are here today charged with 1 count of felony conspiracy, which is a felony of the first degree.
A 44-year-old substitute teacher in Ohio has been arrested in connection with a murder plot where she hired a high school student to shoot and kill her husband during their ongoing divorce.
She was banging him?
No, she was not.
She was not banging him.
Just thought maybe he'd want to murder somebody on her behalf.
Sure.
Well, that's good.
She's going to pay him. Stephanie Demetrius was taken into custody last week after it was learned she approached the student at the Academy for Urban Scholars High School March 26 and offered him $2,000 to murder her husband.
What do you think about killing a man? Where do you stand on that?
And what do you think about $2,000?
Yeah.
After giving the student $250 cash and a down payment, authorities recorded a conversation where Demetrius reportedly reassured the teen that she'd pay him the rest.
Digital information was collected, including a recording of a phone call between the student and defendant. During this phone call, defendant confirmed the remaining payment was not a worry and that she knew she owed $1,500.
Demetrius also took significant steps to move the plot forward. She gave the student detailed information about her husband's and children's schedules, especially noting when no one would be home. She told the would-be killer her husband works from home and suggested the house as the best location for a shooting. When asked about neighbors hearing gunfire, she said, "We don't care about neighbors." Demetrius and her husband filed for divorce in 2017, but later withdrew that petition. She filed again last April. She's scheduled to appear in court again a week from today.
Why'd she settle on killing the guy?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems there's a lot easier ways to...
Yeah.
I mean, just get the divorce.
Get a divorce and the problem is over.
That's what I would think.
Life insurance policy?
Oh, yeah, possibly.
Life insurance policy, she says.
A 61-year-old... You're diabolical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you listen to a lot of true crime podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
A 61-year-old Missouri woman's accused of poisoning her spouse and 2 others by spiking his lemonade and tea with rat poison and antifreeze. Barbara Clickenbeard admitted to poisoning her husband during a phone call last Friday. However, detectives say Clickenbeard poisoned the victims in December and January. The first time, she found some rat poison in a bus that she has on her property.
In a bus? Oh, I
She's
suppose.
got a bus parked right on her property.
Keep the rodents out of the bus. I got it.
She mixed it with some lemonade. The second one, she used antifreeze in tea. Each time, the victims became seriously ill but survived. When deputies took Clickenbeard into custody, she reportedly broke into religious songs in the patrol car, singing about how Jesus would save her.
She did, huh?
Were they striper songs?
If she's cool.
She broke into religious songs, she did.
And continued belting out hymns at the station, alternating between sobbing and serenading. During questioning, she admitted to poisoning her husband during arguments. When asked if she knew the amount of poison she used could have killed him, she said, "Yup." While the husband initially tried to keep her out of trouble by lying that anything happened, he later confirmed the story when police said, hey, she already confessed.
He really tried to lie to get her off the hook?
Yep.
Okay, both of these people are insane.
Tried twice to kill him. But yeah, she's the love of his life. Enraged by what he considered bad customer service, a 45-year-old Florida man aggressively grabbed a female victim, took a fighting stance, and warned that he'd beat her ass after being denied a free refill at a lemonade stand run by kids. The irritable suspect was walking in a Clearwater neighborhood about 7:30 p.m. Tuesday when he saw the kids' lemonade stand. He bought a glass, but things turned sour when he wasn't allowed free refills. After being politely declined for the additional free lemonade, he grabbed a victim by the wrist aggressively while standing in a fighting stance, telling her that he'd beat her up. The man left the area on foot, but it didn't take long before an officer found and arrested him. During questioning, he admitted to everything, but claimed he only grabbed the victim because she was, quote, talking crap.
Was she talking mess?
She was talking trash.
To him, yeah. I would never allow my kids, if I had a set of them, to run a lemonade stand these days, because this is what a lot of our neighborhoods are made of. These lunatic effing derelicts who are just looking to hurt somebody.
Yep.
You see what I mean? It's not 1976 anymore. I'm not exposing my kids to every swinging D in the damn neighborhood.
Have you stopped at a lemonade stand in the last several years?
A couple years ago, some kids down the street from me had a setup, yes.
Inflation has hit lemonade, I've noticed.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I don't remember
that Dixie
what
cup was like $3. Back in my day, it was like a 5 cents.
They wanted $3.
$3. There better be some vodka in there.
Oh.
I don't even drink.
Was it cashless?
No, they took cash. One time, my daughter wanted to set up a stand. And we're like, oh, that's wonderful. Little entrepreneur we're raising right here. And what she sold were, well, I shouldn't say sold. What she attempted to sell were little Dixie cups of caterpillars that she went out and collected on her own. Not one person bought one.
Nobody wanted to drink
a lot of disappointed, thirsty people.
A refreshing glass of caterpillar?
Yeah, she thought that was going to be a hit.
Wow, that's
She's
so
so stupid. A Florida P.F. Chang's employee was arrested Monday after he forced a man to strip off his pants before beating him, which sounds dirtier than it is. Police were called to the restaurant about 12:30 a.m. after receiving reports of a suspicious person spotted near the takeout area with no pants on. According to police, 28-year-old Damari Hill had just finished his shift when he spotted a man getting out of his car. Hill claimed that he yelled at the man, who took off running, which prompted Hill to give chase. The other man attempted to escape on a bicycle, but Hill was faster. Once he caught up, he forced the man to strip and empty his pockets before dragging him back to the restaurant for some reason.
All right.
There, the P.F. Chang's employee gave him the old kung pao, punching and kicking the victim, giving him the beating of a lifetime before slamming him against a wall. Security footage confirmed that attack. A manager at P.F. Chang said she heard the commotion and then ordered Hill to leave, again, he's the employee, and call police. Hill was arrested shortly afterward.
So who won the fight, the guy with pants or without pants?
The guy with pants.
With pants.
Made the other guy take off his pants. He beat him and robbed him. In a Texas-sized cocktail of arrogance and misfortune, a car thief in the Lone Star State managed to crash a stolen Dodge Charger straight into a ditch. But instead of crawling away in shame like any self-respecting outlaw with a bruised ego would, the guy's lack of self-awareness led him to mock the neighbor who caught the whole thing on video. And this guy is frustrating. I can't wait for you to hear how he speaks if you haven't already.
So he's crashed a car.
After he stole it.
And he's got an attitude about it.
Yeah. A couple discovered their Dodge Charger had been stolen early Sunday morning. Doorbell footage from around 3:45 a.m. showed the suspect rifling through the car before starting it up and driving off. 2 hours later, 42-year-old Brad Reynolds heard squealing tires.
I heard the squealing, and I was like, what is that?
By 7 a.m., the joyride came to a literal dead end. The stolen car was found nose down in a ditch not far from Reynolds' house. He approached to snap a photo of the license plate, and that's when the thief got weirdly cocky.
Too bad you didn't get my face. It's stolen. Ha ha. Ha ha. It's a stolen vehicle. Ha ha.
What the suspect didn't realize...
What the hell is so funny?
I don't know. Is Reynolds did catch a very clear shot of his face. Ha ha. And more bad news for the pompous prowler. He unknowingly stole a car from a couple of off-duty police officers.
I did get his face. That's quite a blooper there. I did get his face.
I was mad, but then it was kind of like almost like a chuckle because you don't think they did get your face, but in reality, we really did. But just the audacity to joke like he does.
Finally, as he fled on foot, he issued a threat.
I'll be back for you. Hey, I know where you came from. I'll be back.
He'll be back.
I'll be back.
Reynolds wasn't intimidated, however.
It would be unwise to come back.
This guy's, he's scary.
The Charger suffered significant damage and maybe a total loss.
Man. Sounds like a total prick, that guy.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It just sounds like a douchebag.
Yeah.
I mean, his actions already suggested what kind of guy he was, but ha-ha. Ha-ha to you. A 34-year-old man from Tampa, accused of stealing a Tesla Cybertruck during a test drive, was arrested after making the bold or not-so-bright decision to return to the dealership to retrieve items he'd left behind after stealing the vehicle. 34-year-old Dexter Smithen visited a Tesla dealership on March 26. He met with the salesperson and requested to test drive a Cybertruck Cyber Beast. According to the dealership, he provided a driver's license, which matched his appearance. He signed an agreement to return the vehicle within 30 minutes, but he never came back. When the dealership tried calling the number he had listed, he was disconnected. Then they sent an email demanding the return of the Cybertruck, but that too didn't work. Then March 31st, another salesperson used the vehicle's geolocation feature to track it to a Home Depot. The employee took cell phone video of Smithen in the parking lot, and the vehicle was recovered. Then, just this past Tuesday, Smithen, propelled by giant balls or more likely a tiny brain, returned to the dealership. He strolled in to collect the belongings he'd left in the Cybertruck, including 5 credit cards, each under a different name.
Yep.
Police showed up and arrested him.
It's a long way to go to show people you have a tiny penis.
I'm surprised they let him take that thing for a half an hour. It's like a $100,000 vehicle.
You're familiar with the Cyber Beast?
I think that's the 850 horsepower version of that thing. Yeah, it's like $100,000. I didn't think. I mean, shoot, I remember test driving cars, used cars, maybe worth $9-10 and the guy comes with you.
Huh?
It's always uncomfortable.
Yeah, I found that to be. I had the same experience when you have to test drive with the salesperson.
Yep, hate it.
Yeah, kind of uncomfortable. You try to come up with some kind of small talk, it goes nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You end up in just stone cold silence.
They usually tell you to go faster, and it's like, I don't want to. I don't want to break the law, but thank you.
Okay, I was just going to ask if that happened to you. I had that happen once. He's like, yeah, really get on it here. We're getting on the freeway, just go for it. I'm like, well, who's getting a ticket here, you or me?
Yeah, exactly.
A disturbing and weird video is circulating online where a man dressed like a security guard was caught masturbating in broad daylight near a Miami-Dade Metro Rail stop. Clad in a dark blue shirt and reflective safety vest, he definitely looks the part. So much so that many people assumed online that he was a transit security guard, the very type of person meant to protect the public, not jack off in front of it. Despite appearances, the man has no connection to Miami-Dade Transit. A spokesperson for the Department of Transportation said, we can say with 100% certainty this individual is not a Miami-Dade Transit security guard or employed by the department in any capacity.
But are they hiring?
Yeah, well, he's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
He's our man. As of now, law enforcement is investigating. No arrests have been made.
That's gross.
Yeah, I watched the video. Yucky.
Did you watch the video?
It was blurred out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have.
Oh.
And it went on for a while, to the point where I thought, maybe I don't want to see how this ends.
He was taking his time?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
34-year-old Gregory Yates Jr. thought he'd pulled off the perfect escape after trying to break into a shed and bolting into the woods. But he didn't count on Scout, a decorated canine officer with a nose for justice. Tracking the scent through thick underbrush, he suddenly stopped beneath a towering evergreen, stared up, and locked eyes with the bad guy, who was awkwardly trying to blend in with the branches high above. Unfortunately for Mr. Yates, Scout doesn't fall for camouflage, a post from the sheriff's office said. After Scout sniffed out the culprit's nefarious scent, they called it, high above the ground, he was taken into custody, along with his 36-year-old female accomplice, who officers say he left behind when he made his attempted escape.
Oh, he just...
he ditched her.
Forget you.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Both suspects face charges of burglary of a structure and possession of burglary tools. New in theaters this week, Jason Momoa in Minecraft the movie. Based on the beloved video game, a mysterious portal pulls 4 misfits into the overworld, a bizarre cubic wonderland powered by imagination. To return home, they must conquer the terrain and embark on a magical, life-changing quest. A new collaboration between Jack Black and Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl will be featured on the soundtrack. The original song is titled I Feel Alive and features Black, who's also a cast member in a Minecraft movie, on lead vocals, and then Dave Grohl on drums.
The Minecraft movie?
Yes.
They're going to make $1 billion.
I would imagine it's going to do very, very well. The other main release of the week is an action comedy called Freaky Tales, starring Pedro Pascal. Freaky Tales is an anthology film which follows 4 different interconnected tales that all take place during real historical events in 1987 Oakland. Monday, May 12th is Culver's Give Back Day, where participating Minnesota restaurants will be donating 10% of sales to the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. If you're in Wisconsin, you can stop by the Baldwin, Black River Falls, and Hudson locations. A lot more here in Minnesota, though. Again, this is May 12th to help Shaver fight cancer. Culver's will continue to give back from May 12th through the 25th by rounding up sales to support that fund. We go every year.
You mind if I go back to that last movie trailer? When I watched Sleepy Floyd play in the NCAA basketball tournament in the early 80s, never in my wildest dream did I imagine he'd be part of a movie trailer in the year 2025.
Yeah.
So is that a true story that you were talking about?
They said it's based on true stories, at least. I don't know how accurate things are going to be.
Do you remember the name, Derek? Sleepy Floyd?
That would have been the right timeline.
Yeah.
Did he went for like 50 in an NBA game, right? Like
He was a solid NBA player. Sleepy effing Floyd. I love the nickname. One of the best nicknames in sports history.
Did you ever hear why he was called? Did he just look sleepy?
Yes.
Droopy eyes or something?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Happy birthday to I'm Sorry, Jesus, on Sunday from your smoking hot wife, 6 feet of Norwegian heat Jesus, and clean Iowegian Jesus as well. Happy 40th to our coworker and buddy Justin tomorrow. And happy birthday to you, Alcoholic Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Here with Ja Morant, huge game winner. Take me through what you saw on that final possession.
A pigeon guard me, go get a bucket, win the game.
The way you're answering that and the energy we had in this game, this one felt personal. What was different about this one?
The crowd get to booing me. They just woke me up for the second half, and I'm pretty sure they ain't happy going home now. So.
Ja Morant right there. We'll get to that sumbitch in a minute. Let's say hello to the hello is how you say it. Let's say hello to the boys. Hi, Randy Shaver.
Good morning. Good morning.
Brad Ryder.
Sorry, still efforting on Brad Ryder.
I'm sorry?
Still efforting on Brad Ryder.
We'll try to get him on the line. How are things going for you, Randy Shaver?
So far, so good. It's Friday.
Yeah, what do you care?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to you. Every day's
that's
Friday.
Right. Every day is Friday.
Have you gotten to that point yet, Randy, like a kid in summer where you have no idea what day it is?
Early on, it was like that, but now I kind of have a schedule and a routine, and I've got some side projects going, so now I'm a little bit more focused on what the day is and what's going on.
Oh, yeah, you have at least one podcast. How many are you doing?
I haven't heard you say anything about your podcast. Did the wheels fall off of that deal already? Or
it
what?
was only a high school football podcast. So at the end of December, I stopped and taken a break, and I'll restart it in July. But I've got some other things going on that I'm not at liberty to talk about right now, but could end up being something this fall that could be fun.
Brad, what's the problem getting you on the telephone this week?
I have no comment.
I did call Brad.
I don't want to implicate anyone, and
but I'll take the fall for that. I did attempt to call Brad, but it didn't work out.
Thank you, because I hate throwing people under the bus, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Randy Shaver, I don't remember you clearing any of these side projects with us. You work for us now. You're retired from television, so what are these side projects?
I'm not at liberty to talk about.
You have to be at liberty to talk about it because Josh and I have to give it a green light or a red light.
I think Josh and you will give it a green light when the time comes, but I'm not at liberty to talk about it.
I talk about my side project.
Brad talks about his stuff.
You know what, Brad? Don't even, because we still want to know what that song was.
Yeah,
yes, Brad.
Project. That's not a side.
That's your side chick, though. I mean, call it whatever you want.
Yes, exactly.
Brad's always talking about his assistant coaching role with the high school softball.
Yes, that's great.
The JV high school softball.
Yeah, but the difference is that Brad is already doing that right now. He's locked into it. I'm not yet locked into it. I hopefully will be in the next month, and then I can talk about it. But
I don't know
not right now.
what you guys are talking about. Randy and I talk about all his projects.
You do.
Well, yeah, but you're the guy that signs the checks, so he has to run it by you.
We got the program.
I'm still waiting for projects from Derek. I'm not getting anywhere from Derek.
Our program director, Derek, filling in on the soundboard this morning while Dana's on his disgusting honeymoon. I'll tell you this, Randy Shaver. If we don't get a friggin' invite to one of these side projects pretty soon,
there's nothing to get an invite to.
There's going to be trouble.
There's nothing to get an invite to, but hopefully in the next month I'll have some things solidified and I can talk about it.
I'll invite you guys out to my softball games.
I would love to come and watch a softball game.
I'll be there.
You
No,
should,
thank you.
Ashley. It'd be good for you, Ashley.
That'd be a lot of fun.
No thanks, but I bet you Randy will end up on a podcast with Dino Cicerelli and Neil Broughton or something. and he won't say anything to me, and then I'll end up choking you in the streets.
No. That's not going to happen.
I'll come to a couple ball games this summer, Brad Ryder.
Yeah? Well, the spring, it's a short season.
I do have a signed sweater from Neil Broughton in my auction this year, Nick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, I'm very excited. Yes.
I might have to bid on that some bitch.
Yes.
Yeah, coming up this summer, Randy will have his big golf outing and auction and everything. That's very exciting.
Yeah, very excited.
You know, I had a moment with Neil Broughton a couple summers ago, which was one of the biggest thrills of my life, when Sean, our pal from Fan HQ, was kind enough to invite me to an event out in Hopkins. It was a reunion.
I remember this.
A reunion for the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team, minus Mark Pavlich, who maybe had passed by then, I can't remember, minus, of course, Herbie Brooks. But every other swinging D from that club showed up for this reunion in Hopkins, and Sean was nice enough to invite me. And Sean obviously told the boys about me before I got there, that he and I were bros and that we worked together sort of with the radio station. And so I walk in, and there's everybody from that 80 Olympic hockey team. Just a real thrill for a guy like me, a guy my age. And the first thing that happens is Dave Christian walks up to me and gets in my face. And I'm kind of looking side to side like, did I start a problem with Dave Christian that I don't know about? And Dave Christian says, are you the guy that scored 5 goals against Minnetonka back in 1986? Sean, prepped him.
Sure.
And then Broughton walks up and also is kind of in my, what do they call it in the business, Josh, in my personal space. And I said, yeah, that's me. I scored 5 goals against Minnetonka in 1986. And Broughton says, I got no problem with that. Minnetonka sucks. And that was just so cool that Sean set me up like that. And then I got to stand in a team photo with all the members of that club.
That's awesome. Sean's a good man.
Oh, yeah, he's the best.
I've dealt with Sean. He's been very generous in donating stuff to my golf gala. And he's just really, unprovoked. He just decides to send stuff, and it's just, he's great.
Oh, very nice guy.
Yeah.
Robert, a listener by the name of Robert, has texted in. One of the kindest listeners we have, I've noticed when I read the text machines. Robert got a signed Dino Cicerelli sweater for Christmas, and he calls it the best gift he ever had.
Oh, it's great.
Ever got. When's Dino going to go into the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
Why is Dino Cicerelli not in the Hall of Fame? Unless I missed something.
Or is he already?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Here's a listener who named his dog Broughton in honor of Neil Broughton.
That's a good
There were a lot of dogs named Dino back in the day.
Oh, yeah, there was.
I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
When Dino Mania cut loose on this town, there were all kinds of cats and dogs named Dino back then.
Dino Cicerelli made the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2010.
Well,
I thought we...
2010?
Yeah.
Well, then I'll say it again, Josh, and I need to say this more often than I'd like. Sorry I blew up.
State of hockey.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly, Brad.
State of hockey.
State of hockey, my ass. Guy didn't even know that Dino was already in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
He should get in there again then.
Put him in enough. Put him in twice. Oh, I don't want to tell you, especially while Ashley's here. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you about the fate of of a cat that was named Bratzy after Neil Broughton years and years ago. A bunch of my buddies lived in a house, and they got themselves a cat, and they named it Bratzy after Neil Broughton. And that's as far as I want to go with the story while Ashley is here.
Oh, no.
Something bad happened to that cat. What do we start with? Ja Morant?
Yeah, is he trying to be the villain of the NBA? Is that kind of his thing now?
Yeah, he's always kind of embraced the negative energy, embraced the role of being a tough guy, a bad boy. So last night he had a big game playing for the Memphis Grizzlies. He hit the game-winning shot to beat the Miami Heat, and the Grizzlies are trying to,
yeah, it's a huge game for them.
Trying to solidify a spot in the Western.
They're tied with the Wolves, but they own the tiebreaker. So they are in the 6th spot, and the Wolves are sitting in the 7. And as Brad talked about last week, there's 6 teams within 2 losses of each other, and anything can happen between spots 3 and 8 over the next 5 games. It's going to be a crazy finish.
Yep. So Morant, whatever the hell his name is, he was given a warning last ball game he played in, or 2 ball games ago. I don't know.
I think against the Lakers, right?
I thought it was against the Warriors.
Oh, okay. You're right. Against Draymond.
He made a gun hand gesture, okay? So he was warned about that. He's playing last night against the Heat. Now, he did the gesture again because I guess he wants to prove that he's not afraid of the punishment that the NBA might put upon him.
And I think it was after his first shot, right? So he's making a point.
It was early in the game.
He had thought, I'm just going to do this.
But where we're going with this, for me, is we've got a new phrase for, I guess, maybe a basketball player that lacks skill. We've been going with cone for years already, ever since Patrick Beverley referred to Chris Paul as a cone.
He's a cone.
You're right. We got a new one, pigeon. So Morant hits this game-winning shot over a rookie by the name of Khalil Ware. It was a step back, formerly known as traveling, fadeaway jump shot. And in his post-game interview, when that lady asked him, hey, tell me about the game-winning shot, he said the first thing he noticed is that he had a pigeon guarding him.
Here with Ja Morant, huge game winner. Take me through what you saw on that final possession.
A pigeon guard me, go get a bucket, win the game.
Right.
What the heck does that mean?
Says here, Ashley, for those unfamiliar, a pigeon in basketball parlance means a weak link in the defense, like a clay pigeon used for target practice.
Oh, all right.
I like it. I'm always going to prefer cone because Patrick Beverley said it.
He's a cone.
And he sounded so cool when he said
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But now we've got pigeon.
Well, pigeon seems to be a little bit more broader term. A cone really refers to a guy's foot speed, right?
Yeah. You got to know pigeon a little bit more.
So pigeon is probably can cover more ground when you're talking about a player than a cone.
Either way, we're having fun.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people texting in who have had their moment or moments with members of the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. I've heard from this guy many times. Whenever we talk about the 80 Olympic hockey team, the better Ross Jesus texts in. He texts in to tell us that Eric Strobel and his uncle used to work together. Eric Strobel. What is this? Hanging out. Here's a listener who's friends with the Baker family, Bill Baker's family. Well, of course, so many of them, 17 out of the 20 guys on that roster were Minnesotans, so a lot of us have had those run-ins, and they're wonderful stories.
Yeah.
Timberwolves handled their business in Brooklyn, New York last night, beating the Nets by quite a few points, 105-90 to be exact. Rudy Gobert is really...
Oh, he's playing out of his mind right now.
Where is this earlier in the season? Where is this on some nights is what I want to know.
Well, he was injured for a while. I mean, he's been in and out of the lineup. I just think he's just been in a better position against teams. I mean, what's he averaging? Like 16 rebounds over the last 5-6 games?
Yeah, he had 18 last night.
They're there are certain teams without a lot of post presence where he can just go in and
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Gobert's just been terrific, a big difference maker, even on the offensive side of the court. He mostly dunked his way to 21 points last night. That's impressive for Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, he was 9 of 10 from the field.
Yeah.
So.
Just hanging from the rim. Sorry, I have gas. Yep. Anthony Edwards had 28, and it's the boys' fourth straight win.
How about the Edwards turning his ankle on the foot of the Brooklyn coach right before the first half ended last night?
Yeah.
And you felt like, oh, my God, are they going to lose this guy because of that? And then he does like the Willis Reed and comes out of the locker room to start the second half.
Let me tell you something.
And he's fine. So.
Let me tell you something. He milks it.
He probably did a little bit. But, I mean,
he enjoys that drama.
Was weird. I've never seen – I mean, I know there's guys that get up and walk along the sidelines, coach for sure, but I've never seen that. I mean, the coach – he wasn't trying to be in the way because he didn't expect Edwards to back up, but still, that was strange.
A lot of these guys that are sitting on the bench, the coaches are former basketball players themselves. They've got size 17 feet.
Yeah,
there's zero room on the friggin' sideline between fans, benches, and the out of bounds line. So Edwards got tangled up.
Yeah, like you said, he kind of backed into him a little bit because the coach wasn't. It would be different, I think, if the coach was on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
The coach was not on the floor. So
exactly.
Rudy is a slow bloomer, according to Catfishing Jesus. Takes him 2-3 years to get warmed up to the.
Well, he had a stretch like this last year, though, too, where he just like dominated. I mean, that's really what he's done inside. And I agree with Brad. I think the matchups have been good for him over the last 4 or 5 games, too.
And they need to win. They need to win tomorrow night. They play at Philly. That's a must win because Philly's kind of.
Oh, Philly's the G League, man.
Yeah.
If you look at their lineup, it's a G League.
Yeah. And then they finish that little road trip at Milwaukee and at Memphis. Those 2 games will be tough.
And then look at the finish, though. Then they get Brooklyn and Utah. I mean, they're set up right now to definitely get out of the play-in game. They easily, well, I shouldn't say easily, they could win these final 5 games.
That Memphis game is going to be huge.
That game could end up being the game that puts them out of the play-in game. So,
yeah, we'll see. Like Brad Ryder said, they play at Philadelphia tomorrow night. They needed Rudy last night. They really did because the 3-point baskets weren't falling.
Yeah.
Very easily for the Timberwolves. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had another great game Wednesday night. He scored 33 points on the Detroit Pistons. Veteran Pistons announcer George Blaha was not impressed.
A measly 3 assists for Gilgeous-Alexander and 10 for 26 shooting. He may be the MVP, but he's not the best player in the world. The Joker is the best player in the world. Had a 61-point triple-double last night. He had more than 3 assists.
He's right. Could you follow all that?
Yeah, I heard it. I don't disagree with that snapshot of the season, but I think you have to take the entire season into context and what OKC has done. I mean, they've just run away with the Western Conference. So
got to give that MVP to friggin' Jokic. Come on.
Yeah.
I think SGA is going to win, though.
Yeah, I do too.
I do too.
I do too because what Jokic has won 2 already, 3, whatever. I don't know.
I don't even know if
voter
it's that.
fatigue.
I don't think it's even that though, Nick. I think it's OKC has had such a dominating season. I mean, they're 64-12.
Yeah.
They're easily will win close to 70 games.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a fabulous player. I understand the night that he only had 3 assists and didn't shoot well. I get that, but he's a guard. He's not a center like Jokic. I just think that he's going to end up winning it just because of the team success.
I think you're right, but that's in my mind. It's always. I always look at it this way. If you take Alexander out the lineup, are the Thunder still going to win ball games? Yes. Right. If you take Jokic out of the lineup, are the Nuggets going to win game 1? It'll be a battle.
Yeah.
It'll be a battle.
Good 1 through 12,
Yes.
Not to take anything away from Shai, but that's a good team all the way up.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
They're very
there's
deep.
a little bit of voter. There's a little bit of voter fatigue, I think, maybe with Jokic too, because I think people are like, okay, yeah, we've given it to him 3 years in a row, and
and he's deserved it too.
And he's deserved it, and he probably deserves it again this year. But there might be some people who want to vote for somebody different.
And he doesn't care. Also, that doesn't really help.
No, he doesn't care.
No.
Oh man. NCAA basketball Final Four semifinal games will be played tomorrow afternoon/evening. The setup goes like this: 5 o'clock, Florida. 8 o'clock, Houston, Duke. How do you see this playing out, boys?
I think both games are toss-up.
I think both games are tough. I love Cooper Flagg. I think he's a hell of a player. I'm rooting for Duke. I know there's a lot of people that probably aren't. And I think Auburn's really good too.
Well, obviously they're all.
I'm looking for Duke and Auburn.
Duke's gonna beat everybody.
I hope so.
I don't know
They're
that
gonna
for
beat
sure.
everybody's
Houston's
ass.
really good, Nick.
I know. I've been watching.
They're really good.
I know who's good and who's not good.
He knows.
And Kelvin Sampson's a hell of a coach.
Kelvin Sampson is a pigeon.
He is not a cone.
He's always been a pigeon.
He's a cone.
He's not a cone.
Listen to this. Back to the argument over Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or Jokic for NBA MVP. Super fat 7XL Jesus says just because you had a bad game doesn't mean you aren't the MVP. Even Wilt Chamberlain went back to his hotel room alone sometimes.
Not very often.
Not very often.
Not with those numbers. If those are to be believed.
Duke's going to beat everybody's ass, and it's going to be obnoxious. That's my prediction.
This is the craziest moment in NCAA history.
What the hell was that again? I forgot who that was.
When Gable Steveson lost.
Oh, God, yeah. God dang. NBA Jesus. Again, back to the Alexander Jokic thing. NBA Jesus says George Blaha is one of the worst play-by-play announcers in the league.
Oh, is he bad?
I don't know. I've heard the name. Other people are accusing you, Randy Shaver, of something terrible.
Okay.
Takes a deep breath, waits for it.
They're accusing you of only rooting for Cooper Flagg because he has a super hot mom.
I have no idea what his mom looks like.
Josh, does he have a super hot mom?
But I tell you who does know. Is the former quarterback of the Jets.
What?
Oh,
the MILF man?
Wilson.
Did the
MILF man?
Did the MILF man get a piece of Cooper Flagg mama?
Well, you know he's trying.
Well, yeah, he has that reputation. I didn't know if you had some inside info.
No.
Ashley, your thoughts on Cooper Flagg mama?
She's just fine, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, just
nothing wrong.
looks like a mom.
Okay. Well, we have one at least 2 or 3 listeners who feel as if she is the bee's knees.
I could be looking at the wrong person.
She played college hoops, right?
Did she really?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Josh says off air, he says, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. He just said off air.
That's right. Nothing else to say.
Yeah, the MILF man. Didn't he just sign a contract somewhere?
Yes. Where was it?
Where's he playing now?
I don't think he's in New York anymore.
Is it a MILF heavy
Is he in
market?
Denver?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought he went somewhere else.
Or maybe, oh, shoot.
Someone look up the MILF man. Zach
Wilson.
Parisi is his name. What the hell is his name?
Zach
Wilson.
Wilson, not Parisi.
Where's he playing football now?
With the Dolphins?
Oh, he's with. Oh my God, he'll kill it in Miami.
Let's ask a guy who knows. Derek, good-looking women in Miami?
Yeah, sort of known for that.
You travel everywhere.
Yes. You know, you got to like a little bit of the international flavor there in Miami.
Sure.
Yeah, very
Sure.
good looking.
Where are the hottest women located?
Hottest women, Ashley wants to know.
In the United States.
United States. She wants to keep it in the borders.
Oh, I mean, I think you have to go Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
just because the hot women from all over the country travel there to make it, you know, your typical waitress in a restaurant looking to get famous.
She's looking to be a
unbelievably
porn
attractive.
star or an actress or something.
All right, that makes sense.
We've heard here Derek, you meet a lot of rock stars and stuff in your job. Do you hear that a lot? We hear that a lot from famous people.
They're just trying to get their record played.
Could be.
Yeah,
But we've heard it from like athletes and wrestlers and stuff like that.
And I will say there are a fair amount of rock stars who have like found girlfriends or wives here.
Right.
Yeah, so there's something to that.
Social media always says that Minnesota is known for the sleepers.
Sleepers. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
so the women that you don't expect them to be as hot as they really are.
Because they're wearing glasses in the first half of the movie?
Yeah, like that kind of vibe. Like they're in like baggier clothes.
Yeah, and then they put their hair down and they take the glasses off, and you're thinking, my God, she's been gorgeous this whole movie.
No, that's exactly it, Josh. Yeah, and then once they put on like a nice tight dress, do their hair, their makeup,
starts playing.
People are like, oh my gosh.
I love the ladies in Minnesota, but when a band comes to town and says, you got some hot babes, or when they're on stage and they say, this is the wildest town we've ever been to, they're just looking for a cheap pop.
Yeah. Say that every town.
Looking for a cheap pop.
Oh, they do? Oh, dang it, I fell for it.
I don't know what this means, but I'm going to read it anyway. I hope I'm not saying anything wildly inappropriate here. What it do, Jesus texted in to say, Cooper Flagg's mom is mid, but I'm bricked up, so I would. I don't know what that means.
To be bricked up?
Bricked up.
Like it's been a while.
Oh.
You're at full attention.
You're backed up.
You got to get the poison out.
She did play college ball at Maine, by the way.
Word.
Maine.
Black Bears.
Yeah, I agree with Snot Rocket Jesus. You just can't see hotness under glasses or a ponytail. It goes away.
What kind of mistakes have you made, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, when you were bricked up?
Oh, man. That's more a Brad question.
Brad,
really?
Brad, did something happen at that MC Hammer show back in 1990? Were you bricked up?
No, I wasn't bricked. I don't think I was bricked up at that time.
It does change brain chemistry.
It does.
This is great because I've never heard of it referred. I've just heard it like that means you're at attention. I never knew that it was used to explain not getting some for a while.
You know what, Ashley? Maybe it means both.
Oh, I'd never heard it that way.
There can be multiple meanings. Did you bring a woman home from the MC Hammer show in 90?
Oh, let me think. I think a bunch of it was a group thing. It was a bunch of friends.
It was a what thing?
A group thing. A bunch of friends went. Not like that.
Shaver.
There were probably 8 or 10 of us that went.
How many times did he play You Can't Touch This? Because it's not like the guy had a deep catalog of hit singles.
Right.
Did he play You Can't Touch This for 45 minutes?
Well, he didn't open with, I don't remember. My gosh, this was like almost 35 years ago.
You're sleeping on Pray.
Yeah, Pray.
Yeah, he did that one
Too legit to quit.
Yep.
Well, no, that wasn't out yet.
Yeah, I thought
No, it was not.
What year? What year?
Not in 90. It wasn't out
Well,
yet.
it was 91.
You're right.
What year was it, Brad?
He was playing the new stuff then, so he was playing Pray.
Yeah, but we're talking about Too Legit to Buy Damn Quit.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact.
He might have been playing that before the album came out.
I did go to a Europe concert in 1986 where they played the Final Countdown twice.
I was going to ask you if that was the band. I couldn't remember if that was it.
I'm going to Google MC Hammer and Met Center real quick because I can't remember.
You know, you can go on setlist.fm or .com or something. I've gone to this website before, setlist.com, I think it is, and you can look FM. You can look up set lists from band. You can look up a Kiss concert in 1976. Somebody knows what they played and what order.
It was September 23rd, 1990.
No way he was playing Too Legit to Quit.
Well, the album came out in 91. So why wouldn't he be playing it?
Yeah, he might be playing that.
I've gone to shows where bands have played songs before.
Sure.
The actual album.
5-6 months before it's released as a single?
Sure, absolutely.
5-6 months?
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, think about like in radio. How often do they do that, Derek?
It happens, yeah.
Yeah, like they'll play it on the radio before the album's out, so people want to go buy the album.
So they recognize the music.
I'm willing to bet my job he didn't play Too Legit to Quit on, and I bet you didn't think anyone would bet their job on an MC Hammer set list. I'm willing to bet my friggin' career he did not play Too Legit to Quit in September of 1990.
Unfortunately, set list has the date, but no actual set list for the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew we would get in an argument like this today, too. I knew it. An MC Hammer set list related argument.
You're very passionate. Oh my gosh, I hear it.
Yeah. Well, he didn't play this song. I know that.
The leaf blower guy's back.
on the horizon. I just don't know how emotional all of us might be on the subject. The University of Minnesota is working on selling the naming rights for Willem Arena. Does that send you one way or the other?
I don't think people, at least of my generation, or even younger than me, even if they give it a brand name, I still think people will call it Williams Arena.
Yeah,
I just don't see people, change it. I mean, Mariucci's got its own corporate slogan to it.
We still
call it Mariucci.
Well, did anybody ever call the Metrodome Mall of America Field?
No,
nobody called it
not. No.
I understand why they're doing it because that's what everybody does with facilities. But you're right. I don't think anybody's really going to care.
Yeah, I don't think the media in town will call it anything other than the Barn or Williams Arena.
Right. I remember being upset when Mariucci changed over to whatever the hell they were, whatever they are now.
And then you went to bed and woke up the next morning.
Right.
Yeah,
it didn't last
It didn't
long.
change anything.
No.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, God. Oh, sorry. I drink a lot of Gatorade around here, and then eventually it just... I was saying earlier, a little bit of a buzz kill when your team loses the home opener. The stupid Houston Astros beat the Twins yesterday 5-2.
Screw the Astros.
Let's see here. One dude called Christian Walker and another called Jeremy Pena hit dongs. Someone named Brendan Rodgers had 3 hits and 3 RBIs.
Well, I think just kind of what you just said right there. They're not the same Astros. This is not the team that, other than Altuve, it's really not the same team.
No.
I mean, they have turned over.
Yeah,
Sure,
I'll still hate them forever.
I mean, they're a different looking team. I personally, I don't think they're as good as what they've been in the past. But I will say that pitcher yesterday for the Astros, that young Hunter Brown, is really good. He's going to be. I know Framber Valdez is kind of their number one ace, but that Hunter Brown is really good. Throws hard, man.
Yeah, he did all right. Joe Ryan didn't do all that great.
He did in the first inning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
only
awesome.
Half came out of first.
Yeah, they're right in the mix. They're right in the race. Jose Altuve, you mentioned Jose Altuve.
He did awful.
Hilarious.
5 strikeouts.
He struck out 5 times. That's the first 5 strikeout game in his 15-year career.
Yeah.
Up next, Bailey Ober pitches in Game 2 of the series tomorrow.
And talk about a guy who needs to bounce back. That's the guy for the Twins right now, Bailey Ober.
Yeah, he's got to get it going. Back to the conversation we had on what town here in America has the hottest ladies. Derek went ahead and said Los Angeles of California. Here's a damn text message from Smokes Your Mom's Pot Jesus, who said, believe it or not, there are tons of fly honeys in Omaha.
Oh, really?
He said he thought about moving there because the competition is practically non-existent.
Well, you have to take into account where there are college towns, too, and that is kind of a college town.
What, are you still like attracted to the college girls?
No, I'm just saying you have to. I mean, you have to. Omaha is a small town. But
I'm just busting your chops.
And he's a college professor, too.
Oh, that's not
wildly inappropriate.
We're busting.
Not really.
Brad, stop it. We're just trying to start trouble.
I know.
We know you're not cruising the colleges.
By the way, I think Los Angeles deserves an asterisk because, Derek, you said it. It's the most beautiful women from around the country that go there. So you can't really
not live there.
Right. Cubby's saying that's not fair.
That's the same thing with Vegas, too.
That's a good point, yeah.
Nobody's from Vegas.
No, very few. Omaha, huh? I don't know that I've been through there.
I haven't, no.
I have not.
Been through Lincoln.
I've been to Omaha.
Oh, yeah.
Youth sports tournaments a lot.
Oh, that makes sense. I was going to say, why in the world were you in Omaha?
Yep.
At least one Twins player is using the torpedo bat, Ryan Jeffers, which proves they make no significant difference at all in a hitter's performance at the plate. Ryan Jeffers is using the torpedo bat. At least he tried one out during that opening series against
You still have to make contact with the ball.
Yeah, you
That's
do.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think this is going to end up being some big deal. I just don't.
No, this will come and go, just like
I just don't think
like
this
MC
is
Hammer.
Be. It's not going to be something that the Major League Baseball is going to ban or anything. I just don't think it's going to make that big a difference.
Of course, they're not going to ban it because it's legal. But what I'm saying is,
well, they could rewrite the rule if they wanted to. It's just not making that big of a deal. It's just not changing.
It's just a thing now.
Yeah.
The last thing baseball needs to do right now is find a way to decrease offense.
True.
So that's why they're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
As we all expected, demand for those silly torpedo bats has sent a factory or two into a panic. I was reading a story about a factory in Pennsylvania called Victus Sports, I think is how they say the name of the joint. And telephone calls are coming in like it's a phone sex company in the mid-'80s, for Christ's sake. Orders being placed by big leaguers, beer leaguers, everybody. What do they say here? It is nothing new.
No, it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Usually as a training device, like for to hit shags and fly balls and ground balls and that kind of thing.
They say here it generated about as much interest last season in baseball as a 200 hitter, but that's all changed now.
Yeah.
Because the Yankees, are clubbing it all over the. They make about 600 to 700 bats a day, but they're busting their ass to try to make even more. Usually, the creation of a typical bat is a 2-day process. Isn't that something?
Wow, I expected it to be maybe like an hour.
Oh no, they got to do this, they got to do that. $200 a pop for one of these bats. I thought it'd be more than that.
Yeah, it seems low.
It does seem low. But anyway.
I mean, shoot. I'm trying to think of like what we've spent on softball bats over the years. Well, Brad, you're in it.
Yeah.
I had a bat one. It was over $400.
I was going to say the really good ones are around $250, $300.
The aluminum bats.
A bat that I don't even use anymore. Sorry, Dad.
Well, but you hauled a few hits out of it back in the day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's the one thing we get on our kids about in practice all the time is take care of your equipment because your parents are spending a lot of money on it.
Oh, Brad, do you want to hear a really sad story?
No, but go ahead.
When I played fast pitch, I was a catcher, and my dad invested in some catcher gear for me. It was brand new. I got to wear it maybe 3 times, and then we had a tournament that I went to. And I left it at the field.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we went back maybe an hour later, and somebody took it. Yep. Oh, that was so heartbreaking.
I don't even think we want to start a conversation on what those friggin' hockey sticks are going for.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Out of control.
It's ridiculous.
Aluminum ones.
Composite, whatever they are. I mean,
even the used ones are expensive.
I used an aluminum stick maybe 2-3 games all through youth and beer league. I always preferred the wood sticks. You can hurt a guy a little worse with a wood stick. Nowadays, I can't even. Just one of you text us and tell us what you're spending on those composite sticks for your ungrateful child every hockey season. It's insane.
Hockey is just crazy expensive all around. I don't know how parents can afford that.
Yeah, the wood sticks. I mean, I remember even when I was a kid, my parents wouldn't bat an eye if I said, I need a new stick because they were dirt cheap, the wood sticks.
Right.
$10.
Yeah.
Now, good Lord. Freddie Freeman of the Los Angeles Dodgers, as we told you a few days ago, he fell in the shower and hurt himself like older people do. And the outcome of that fall is worse than originally suspected. He's gone on the injured list now. He'll be out at least another week.
Too bad you weren't around. Aren't you uniquely qualified to rescue people in the shower?
Yes, I am. I prefer females play the game with me, but I invented this game way back in high school. It's called Shower Rescue. And I've been playing it with every woman I've ever been associated with. We always play Shower Rescue.
I love picturing that. I mean, not in a dirty way.
I do not.
I'm here to save you.
Help, she says, right? And I come running in.
She feigns like she's in some trouble.
Yeah, that's how we play Shower Rescue. Right. What else? The effing man bear pigs. New York Islanders tonight on the road at home Sunday against Dallas.
They are hanging on.
Yeah, by
they're still 5 points up. I still think they're in good shape.
Our listeners are telling me you can't get a damn decent composite stick for less than $300.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was just looking on some of those. You can spend like $900.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, see, that sounded cheap to me, but I know nothing about these damn things. I hear they're expensive. Okay, here's a $379 goalie stick. 3 practices, it broke.
You can get softball gloves in the $300 range.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, I was going to ask, on average, how many sticks does a kid go through in a season?
I have no idea. I know for me, if you bought me 2 in September, they'd be fine at the end of the season because they were friggin' wood sticks. Now, it's a scam is what it is. These sticks are so lightweight, they're like using a friggin' bamboo rod out there. They break if somebody skates too close to you, and they cost $400, $500, $600.
That's crazy.
It's a friggin' scam.
Yeah, people are texting in about motorsports and stuff like that. Yeah, that's just the tires. I mean, are crazy.
We could do this all day going back and forth on how expensive, but we're just specifically right now we're talking about hockey sticks. I'm sure a motorcycle, for Christ's sake, is a little more than a hockey stick.
Sure.
Hot Cocoa Jesus doesn't mind picturing you in shower rescue either, Nick. How about?
Wait a minute, she's coming in to rescue me?
She didn't say.
Help! It's stuck in the drain again.
God.
And I'm talking about my right testicle. The St. Louis Blues went ahead and tied a franchise record last night with their 11th straight win.
I think Snuggerud had an assist last night in that game.
Is that right?
I think so. Wow. I think he played last night and got an assist.
I know a kid named Jake Neighbors, the grandson of the late, great Jim Neighbors.
Really?
Scored a goal. No, not really. I wish that he was the grandson of Jim Neighbors, because then we'd have a reason to talk about Jim Neighbors and his beautiful singing voice. Maybe we can still talk about Jim Neighbors and his beautiful sing. We could. Calgary also won last night. Oh, a kid named Blake Coleman, who's the son of the late, great Gary Coleman.
Is that right?
Scored a pair of goals for Cal. So the Flames are 5 points.
Snuggerud got an assist last night in the third period.
Well,
on a Jake Neighbors goal.
But was it an empty net goal?
No, it was not.
Okay. But then it counts.
Yeah, the Flames are 5 back, but the Flames have played 1 less game.
Right. Good for Snuggerud. I'm happy for him. 5 points out. The Flames are. It says here the Pigs are about to get the Russian kid back on the ice. I'll believe that when I see it.
Yep, I agree with that.
Kirill Kaprizov, 25 games he's missed now. They say he could return as soon as next Wednesday for a game against the San Jose Sharks. All right, and
okay, good.
Eriksson Ek is also trending towards a return. He's been out for a hell of a long time, but he was, how do they say it here, a full participant in practice earlier in the week. Pigs coach Gene Snitsky said that Kaprizov had a positive checkup with his surgeon. So you might say the Pigs are getting healthy at just the right time.
Yep, for sure.
We'll see about that. Oh, my damn. Big Poop Jesus. Great name. Broke 18 composite sticks in his senior year of high school in the year 20, add 12. 18 of them.
Dang.
Oh, my God. That's like one a game.
These kids should go back to those 52-pound wood sticks with the straight blade, like they used back in the. Let's see if you really got some skills. One of those heavy-ass old wood sticks with a straight blade. I got one of those hanging in my. What do you call that, Josh? It's like a big room. You put your car there.
Garage.
I got one. A listener was kind enough to send me an old-ass straight wood hockey stick from about 1982 or 3, autographed by every member of the Minnesota North Stars during that hockey season. So
wow.
It was like Don Beaupre and Al McAdam and Bobby Smith and Neil Broughton and Brad Maxwell and on Steve Payne. Yeah. You can barely lift it. Josh came over once. It took 2 of us to lift it.
Like the sword of Excalibur.
The Chicago Bears signed a veteran quarterback to play a backup role to Caleb Williams. It wasn't Karen, but it's our old pal Cliff Keebler, the guy who pulled the Hennepin County fluke out of his ass however many years ago that was.
Yeah. God, he's still around, man. Still collecting a paycheck.
37 years old already, Cliffy.
I like those insurance commercials he does. I think it's insurance.
Yeah, it is. Yep, he calls in the backup. It's great.
Christ, I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember the guy's trying to back his vehicle?
Very funny.
Oh, yeah.
And the wife throws in, now I can't think of the real name because you've Cliff Keeblered me.
Case Keenum is what some folks call him. Yeah, he seems like he's pretty comfortable there in front of a camera.
Those
maybe.
are funny.
Maybe he'll be the next
I like it how
Brady.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Randy?
It's one of those commercials, I'm not sure if it's his or not, where they wear the exact same outfit as they're replacing, and they slap him on the ass when they go in. It's really funny.
Yeah, those are
very well done.
Very creative.
What is this? You pick him up, you dropped him. Jesus says when he was an 8th grader, he went through 6 wooden sticks. We're not counting temper tantrums in your parents' basement. What do you mean you went through 6 wooden sticks when you were an 8th grader? What the hell were you doing with them? What brand of stick did your parents buy you?
Little Village Jesus said their softball team bought an Easton Ghost, $1,100.
Oh my gosh!
Beer league softball.
That is ridiculous. What are you doing?
I suppose those guys could probably afford it, But when you're buying those for kids, my goodness.
I remember beer league softball. Every year. Well, not every year, but every other year, I think we would all pitch in to buy a new bat.
Yeah.
We got a new bat, and one of the first guys to go up to the plate, ripped one out to right field and put a big dent in the damn thing, and that was the end of that.
Oh.
You never know. Ashley, is that what you did? Did you go oppo and then leg it out in your softball career?
No.
You didn't slap it the other way?
True pull hitter.
You were a pull hitter?
Was I a pole hitter?
Yes.
No.
Well, what was your style?
I don't know. I just hit it normally.
Slapper.
No. Oh gosh,
hit
no.
it where it was
That was
pitched.
reserved for the fast girl. She was a slap hitter.
You didn't have wheels?
No, not really.
I picture you having wheels.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
I mean, I was average. I wasn't like the slowest person on the team.
Josh, were you a base stealer?
Well, you got to get on base.
You can get walked, Josh.
I was good at. I gave a
You
lot.
can get hit by pitch, Josh.
Well, yeah, if they're mad at me.
Oh. Actually, I was watching a video yesterday of some high school kid who's gone viral because of his ridiculously high leg kick. Did you see this kid, Josh?
It's out of
Why is
control.
he doing that?
College kid, high school kid. Well, he's doing it so we can get on the internet. Is
You
what?
talking about a pitcher or a hitter?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
Louis
sorry.
Tiant? Is he Louis Tiant?
Higher.
Higher than Louis Tiant?
Yes.
It's straight up and down.
You can see that on the website,
wild.
Randy.
It's on our website?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got to see this.
Yeah, sorry to mislead you. Yes, he's a pitcher with a wicked, it's like David Lee Roth style leg kick. And, he says it improved his velocity. He did it for the internet. But anyway, Brad Ryder, you were a pitcher. Did you have a dramatic leg kick? Did you really pump that bit?
I wouldn't say it was higher than average, no.
All right.
We used to try and do it as kids when we were pitching. Have the big leg.
I mean, I have long
Looks
legs,
painful.
so maybe it appeared as though I had a high one. But
I got ripped smooth off by a terrible baseball coach when I was a kid. First day of practice, this was like 5th or 6th grade. First day of practice, I was obsessed with Dan Quisenberry when I was a young kid.
Oh, sure. The submarine.
Submarine pitcher for the
Yes.
Kansas City Royals. Poor guy died young. He had a lot of saves. He was one of the top closers in the league when I was a kid. And he had that wicked submarine delivery. So day one of practice, the coach says, who wants to be pitcher? And I said, I'll be a pitcher. And 2-3 of us kids got on the mound, and they all, stupid boring overhand delivery, And then it came my turn, and I did the Dan Quisenberry. And I'm throwing friggin' strikes because I practice up against the garage all day, every day, imitating Dan Quisenberry. And I did it first day of practice. The coach says, no, you're going to hurt your arm. And I said, well, that's my problem, isn't it? Come on, what the hell? I said, look at this. I could put all kinds of No, he says.
That is, wow, he pitched so weird.
Just shut me down.
Dan, did you watch Dan Quisenberry? Yeah, Kent Tekulve was that way for the Pirates, too.
Kent Tekulve.
He looked like a dentist.
One of the oddest looking athletes that's ever lived.
He looked like a dentist. This guy's leg kick is probably the same as Louis Tiant.
To me, it looked higher. But same neighborhood. Same neighborhood. All right, we've mentioned enough names that nobody recognizes. We might as well get the hell out. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, you guys go ahead and have a great weekend.
We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
NBA veteran Jim Jackson takes you on the court.
You get a chance to dig into my 14-year career in the NBA and also get the input from the people that will be joining. Charles Barkley.
I'm excited to be on your podcast, man. It's an honor.
Spike Lee, entrepreneur, filmmaker, Academy Award winner.
Knicks fans.
So, now you see, I got you. But also how sports brings life, passion, music, all of this together.
The Jim Jackson Show, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
All right, I'll tell you what, we appreciate you coming on back to the 93X. That's twice this week where I had no idea we were going live. Let's try to keep it together for the final 30 minutes or so of our Friday broadcast. Very appreciative of our program director, Derek Madden, filling in for Dana this week, running the very important and complicated soundboard.
Thank
you,
sir.
Derek.
Thank you.
He hates us for even bringing it up in the first place. But you filled in admirably. You have. Hates us for bringing it up. Do you mind if we pick on you for a few minutes, Derek?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Here we go.
You're a true blue woodsman. Single, swinging D, kind of a character.
I am, yes.
A bit of an inspiration, if we could say so.
A lot of different dates. You go on dates now and again, do you, Derek?
I do, yeah.
When's the last time you asked a lady out in person? I'm curious, because you're, like a lot of folks, you're online when you meet a lot of these gals?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that. But also, no, I mean, I would say, like, I don't know, 1 out of every 4 or 5 is, like, an in-person thing. Like, hey, you want to, you still do it kind of casually. It's not like, hey, you want to go on a date. It's more like, hey, you want to go out to dinner? You want to,
But we're talking face-to-face, not on a computer screen.
Yeah, you got to meet people in real life sometimes, too.
So still old school type of an approach. You might walk up to a woman at a bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is so different, though, right? I mean, I've never, Nick, I'm sure you're in the same boat. I've never asked someone out other than in person.
Oh, no, I've
because it wasn't really a thing back when I was single.
No, you're right. But once I got into my 30s, there were a couple of online... it was emails. It wasn't a dating site or anything, but it was emails that were traded. What's funny about that?
I can't imagine getting an email like that.
Right? So a couple of times, yeah, Josh, when I got a little older, I asked a lady out or two via an email. But you're right. When we were younger, there wasn't an option. And you're a little bit of an older guy, so you're not completely dedicated to the online thing the way a younger guy might or a girl might be.
Yeah, and as you get a little older, it's the online thing is a young person's game.
Yes.
Know what I mean?
We used to fax date invitations back in the day.
Oh my gosh.
Right. 50% of dudes have never asked a woman on a date in person. That's
crazy.
That friggin' blows my mind. I guess I should say almost 50% of dudes have never asked a woman out in person. Text us, 68, what's the number again?
651-989-9393.
Text us at that number, 651-989-9393, if you've only ever asked a lady out online, if you've never asked someone out, or women too, if you've never, maybe some women have never asked a man out in person.
I was actually just telling my wife last night, if I were to pass away.
Yeah. God forbid.
By the end of the week, she would be hooked up with somebody else. I'm confident. That's what would happen. But if it was the other way around, I'd said, I think I'd be done. You know, I'm not going to, but I don't think I'd get online and do any of that. I suppose you could go through enough of a dry spell where you think, okay, I'm going to get online here. But I don't know
once you get bricked up.
You're bricked up. But it seems it's so different, you know, for me. I know it's very common now. And I kind of wonder, I should ask some of my single buddies.
I'll tell you this much. You've brought this up before, that, you know, if your wife checks out, you know, you've said this before, I don't think I'm interested in this or that. I'll tell you right now, as your best friend, if your wife somehow is out of the picture, even if she just ups and leaves you, and you're not on the internet within minutes dialing up some fresh action, I'll kick your ass.
Like I said, if I was in that situation, maybe it'd be different, but right now it seems...
Well, you're just going to sit there playing with yourself till the day that you die, or what?
I like playing with myself.
That online stuff really, really sucks. I was only on there for a couple of months, and actually right before I met my fiance, I was about to get off because it's just...
All right. Ashley.
Oh, come on. You know what I'm talking about.
We all know that it's loaded with psychomaniacs. Of course, we know that. So
it's not even that. It's just too much.
I bet it's worse for a girl.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's too much?
It's overwhelming and...
Too many guys asking you out, asking you to come over and things like that?
I guess I don't want to sound conceited, but because I think a lot of guys on those apps, they say yes to every girl they see on there. And
they didn't even know you could swipe the other way.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just too overwhelming, too many boring conversations.
I get it.
It was just exhausting always having to ask the same questions over and over again.
I can understand all that.
Awkward first dates do rack up, and none of those are fun.
Have you guys heard the term floodgating?
No, go ahead with that.
I bet I would be a floodgater, where you just basically barf everything about yourself at them on the first date.
That was definitely me. And I think part of the reason is because of this job. I've always been a talker, and it would suck having to always carry the conversations on the first date.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting I'd be carrying it. I just think I get way too open, way too sherry on the first
date. That is totally you.
Yeah, I saw that term, right? Silly. Floodgating, I thought, my God, they're calling me out here.
You would need a governor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, yes, you've admitted you have trouble. You have difficulty stopping talking, if that's the proper way to say that.
Yeah, so actually at Dana's wedding, he's on his honeymoon now, that's why he's not here.
Gross.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't like thinking about it either.
Right.
But I can't stop. Dana's wedding, one of his bride has 3 dads, right? So one of them came up and I was talking to him, and I could tell after a while, he's like, I got other people to talk to, bro. And so I just, eventually I realized, son of a gun, I did it again.
Floodgating. You go out on a date and you tell them everything that's right or wrong about you.
And one of the things that they said about floodgating is then by date 2, you're done, right? You got nothing else to say. You've exhausted all the good stories.
Yeah. I could totally see you being that guy where the gal walks away and says, Jesus, I didn't ask for that. My God, he told me everything that... All right. That's interesting to me, though, that almost half of dudes have never asked a lady out on a date in person. They don't really have the female statistics here. They're mainly picking on the dudes.
What is this? I'd be interested just in the statistic of how many women ask men out versus, in any way, in person, online, whatever, versus guys.
Oh, okay.
I have quite a bit.
Have you? I've never been asked out by a person ever.
I'm outgoing in that way, though. I'll just cut right to the chase. It's usually like how Derek said, like, you want to go get a drink? Not, do you want to go out to dinner and a movie? No.
Just a little more casual?
Yeah.
Now, you young fellers aren't going to like this, but this article goes on to say that young dudes lack the cojones to ask a gal out in person. And it's for a couple of reasons, and they're both fairly obvious.
They lack the social skills to begin with?
Getting rejected sucks.
That doesn't factor in, but Derek mentioned one of them.
They don't go outside anymore?
It's all the cellular telephones in their pockets with the texting and the internet, right? You don't have to ask someone out in person anymore. You can do it via a text or whatever they do, a dating hookup site, whatever. The other is a fear of public rejection. It's a lot safer to take a chance with a text message than asking someone out in public.
Would the equivalent be, Derek, you're hip, when you ask somebody out and then you see those 3 dots and then they disappear and there's no text that follows?
Yeah.
Oh, no. This is not going well.
Gosh.
Roastmaster Jesus' wife asked him out in 1995, and they're still together.
Oh, that's great.
Listener said he met his wife at Povs in Andover 20 years ago at a, what was the name of that band again, Josh? At a...
there was a few
the guys.
Atomic Punks?
The funny names, and they made an appearance at Povs, but they really didn't.
Wu-Tang Clan?
Wu-Tang Clan. He met his wife at Povs in Andover 20 years ago at a Wu-Tang Clan show. A lot of men say they don't ask women out in public because they don't think women want that. But a survey of women says otherwise. 74% of women under the age of 35 say they wish more men would ask them out face-to-face rather than with the text message or the dating app.
I have mixed feelings about that because it's awkward telling them no to their face.
Yeah, they say that, but they want the right men.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you had a woman just say no directly to your face, Derek, when you said, "Hey, would you like to hang out, have a couple of..."
Yeah, you got to, it's like getting punched in the face. You got to kind of learn that you can take it and handle it before you're not scared of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Don't be so afraid of rejection.
Yeah. Just no.
It is what it is. It's a 50-50 deal. You get one answer or the other.
Right. People got their reasons.
Yeah.
May not even be you.
A guy has never asked me out on a date in public or in person, I suppose, unless you count the people that have left like their phone number and their name on a receipt at the bar.
So a man's never looked into your eyes and said, "We want to go out on a date sometime?"
No.
They just leave you a number?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was always weird.
They leave you the phone number.
Especially if you're waitressing, I imagine that happened a fair amount.
Yeah, and what was the best part is when the tip would be crap. Like, why would I ever go on a date with you? You tipped me $2 on $34.
Do girls like it when you go, how's it going?
Yes.
Does that work?
Totally.
Some do. All right, so Dana just got married. Ashley's headed in that direction. You guys think Dana's going to make it? I got money saying he doesn't.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I don't think so. What jobs, how should I say this? Divorce attorneys had a conversation online talking about the jobs with the most cheaters. I'm not saying that Dana's divorce will end because of cheating. I'm saying that, I'm sorry, I'm not saying that Dana's marriage will end because of cheating. I'm saying Dana's marriage will end because of Dana.
Would it shock you if radio personality was in the top 10?
I've heard radio people get divorced. They were high on the divorce list. Yeah. I don't know if cheating is involved.
Plus, sometimes you just got to move out of town in this life. You know what I mean?
That's true.
On short notice,
And I'm kidding about Dana. I'm sure he'll be fine. A divorce attorney or two on TikTok talk about the jobs with the most cheaters. All right, here they are. Firefighters.
Well, first responders definitely have always made the list of
cops.
Cops, right. Those that get divorced quite a bit. And I can tell you, I used to call my basement the Boar's Nest, a reference to the bar in Dukes of Hazzard where the cops went, because of how many cops I had that would live in my basement as they were going through divorces.
Was the Boar's Nest a cops bar?
Well, didn't the cops go there?
Oh.
So I always called it the Boar's Nest.
I guess my eyes were always
Maybe
on...
it wasn't a cop bar, but...
What was her name again?
Daisy Duke?
Daisy. Bartenders, oh, for God's sake. Yeah, all you do is meet new, attractive people every night, if you're at the right bar. Some bartenders never experience new and attractive people, and I go to those bars. But yeah, you're a bartender.
And they're drunk, the attractive people.
Yeah. Military men, they say. Divorce lawyers say.
Yeah, they're out of town.
they're high on the cheating list.
What about athletes?
And just the stress, I'd imagine, of those professions as well.
They don't mention athletes, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
The stress of your gig as a military man?
Yeah. I would think all those that we've mentioned so far, that stress.
I think they're owed one or two, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a patriotic person, definitely.
I'm a patriotic person. Actually, don't you think that military men are owed one or two pieces of side ass?
Yeah, why not?
Flight attendants and pilots.
Yep.
You're traveling all over the world.
Cheating with each other.
Cheating with each other.
Correct.
You got a few bucks in your pocket. I understand those pilots get paid well.
They do pretty good.
We have a mutual friend who loves dating flight attendants.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
Why specifically?
Because he's a low commitment sort of guy, and it's easy to have a low commitment sort of arrangement there.
He knows odds are this woman is not going to want more than a weekend out of me.
Exactly.
Dude, what the heck? I never get lucky. I never have a smoking hot flight attendant.
I don't go on enough planes to
It's not fair.
I don't. I'm usually staring straight ahead and praying for a quick death.
I want it to be like the movies, darn it.
Well, this is a good place to do it because there's a decent chance your flight attendant is based here. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, these same divorce attorneys went ahead and mentioned the three occupations with the least amount of cheaters. Farmers. Good for them.
They never leave.
Right, it's nowhere to go.
Yeah, they're always at home.
They're at home.
They're usually pretty family-centric.
Family. Yeah. They're on the same chunk of land they were born upon. You know what I mean?
They've already got their cowgirl.
They've landed a hot little cowgirl.
Yeah, that knows how to work with her hands. I mean, that's perfect.
I wonder if this changed since farmersonly.com.
I want to know how many people are actually on there.
They're keeping it together.
I wonder if there's a pharmacistonly.com because they are also mentioned in this report of the occupations with the least amount of cheaters, pharmacists, and accountants. I guess I'll have to go along with that.
Pretty straight-laced, I picture most accountants.
Are they mainly straight-laced people?
The one I know is. Dental Babe Sheeza said married to a farmer. He would never cheat, doesn't leave the house, and doesn't want to socialize.
Well, Josh, you should have been a farmer.
Yeah, really.
From the sounds of
Wish
that.
I knew how to do that.
We were talking about which occupations have the most and least amount of cheaters. Who were the ones you can't trust? They say pilots, military men. Was it firefighters?
Firefighters, cops. Well, so I have two stories on that. I've told you before. A girl I dated, her dad was a pilot. She found out when she was in her 20s. Dad had a whole separate family. She was unaware of that.
Okay, right.
My wife, her dad was a cop. She found out in her preteens, maybe she was 12 or 13, I forget, that her dad had a whole separate family.
Oh, that's so messed up.
Ooh,
I date girls who have daddy issues, apparently.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just realized that right this second.
At least statistically speaking. I'm not trying to, piss off any cops, firefighters, military guys, pilots.
This is science.
The statistics, the arithmetic was done by some divorce lawyers, and they say these are the occupations that have the most cheaters. It's just simple arithmetic. One of the occupations, now like I said, they went through which occupations have the most and which have the least amount of cheaters. One of the jobs where dudes just don't up and cheat. Farmers. I got a text here that says farmers do cheat, it's just the animals can't talk.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No.
That's terrible.
Our little secret.
I don't like that.
Oh, yuck.
Have any of you seen a television show? A listener just gave me a heads up on a television show called, the show is called Farmer Needs a Wife.
I saw
No.
commercial for it, but I have not seen. I don't really watch any of those dating shows, but I know what they're referring to.
Oh, man. That sounds interesting. I've known a couple, more than a couple farmers in my day. And, every once in a while, a farmer just needs a damn wife. What is this now? Another text message on dating and cheating and all that stuff. OSR Jesus says, my dating life has really slowed down lately, which sucks. But I guess that kind of stuff happens when you get married. Yeah.
Usually.
It's only natural. Now, we've been picking on Derek over there, our program director / part-time board operator, because you're a single pimp and you're out there running wild on the streets with women at all hours of the night, living the dream. On the topic of cheating, have you ever knowingly, Derek, whether you knew right away or found out later, have you ever been the side piece to a married woman?
Yes, I have.
Ow!
Yes, I have.
Did you know right away going into it, or did you find out later?
God, it was much younger days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew.
You
knew.
You were well aware.
Well, I mean, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm proud of it, but you're already getting the story about how it's not a good marriage, and he'd already been cheating on her.
Oh, he
had. Yeah, right. There's always a spin,
right? You know what I mean? Plus, she was really hot. So,
really hot.
Yeah,
you could have just led with that, and we'd think it was okay.
Yeah.
There's always some type of spin. Absolutely, Derek.
Yeah. So I was in.
It's a stressful situation.
It is a stressful situation.
Yeah, it's never like the person is like, yeah, I'm happily married. We go on vacations twice a year. But like, sure, let's get it done.
How long did it last?
Several months. Yeah, several months.
Did he find out?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
How did that go?
Not great. It was not great. Some uncomfortable conversations were had.
All right. Well, uncomfortable conversations. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah. 2 of 10 would not recommend. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Nick and I both have the same story where we found out post-intimacy that they were married. And the only reason I found out is because I was just kind of strolling around the room there, and I noticed a picture on her dresser of her and what I thought was the largest professional athlete I've ever seen.
Oh, God.
And she's like, no, that's my husband. He's in prison. I'm like, well, you got to say something about that. I had no idea she was married.
I don't even like to talk about it.
And she was in her early 20s, so, I mean, pretty young. And I was too, by the way, for the record. I never would have guessed.
Did the prison thing help or hurt in that? Like, did it make you feel better or worse about the situation?
Well, I felt worse, but at least, he wasn't, and he was going to be in there for a while. He did some stuff.
Oh.
But at least I knew he wasn't going to come directly at me, and I figured I could probably talk my way out of it because I legitimately had no clue.
Right, I could see the pros and the cons there.
Right.
I was actually kind of surprised she told me the truth, that she admitted. She could have said that was anybody.
Right.
I wouldn't know.
Damn. Yeah. It is bizarre how many similar experiences we had even before we met.
Yeah.
I was horrified.
The same girl.
Yeah. Oh God, was it the same woman? I was terrified. I was terrified, and I was pissed.
I felt like just a bad person too. That was the other part.
Oh, I don't really get those feelings very often. But I was pissed. I said, "You can't do that to somebody." What do you mean? Because it was after the fact.
Yeah.
And then she dumps that on me. Something along the lines of, "Yeah, boy, it's been a while." I said, okay, yeah, my husband's off in prison. And I said, you cannot do that to somebody, especially someone as scrawny as me. I did not like that news being dumped upon me. So I pretty much ran out of there.
Oh, this is bad news for both of us from your friendly neighborhood garbage man.
No.
He said that both those guys get out of prison this month.
God, no. All right. Well, that'll do it, Derek. You can go back to your regular life now.
Oh, thank God.
After today.
Yeah, I know getting up early isn't easy, and I know for you especially, so we are very, very grateful for your time.
I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Like, this whole week, man, I'm like, what time is it? What am I doing? Oh, I got to work.
It can be rough.
It's going to be fun knowing that tonight you're going to go to bed by like 7 p.m.
I always wondered how people do it, and now I'm one of those people. It took 3 days.
You're a night person who has been drug into filling in and helping us out on this horribly early morning program. What should we we should leave some kind of a booby trap for Dana for when he gets here on Monday morning.
Oh, definitely.
Because the guy's going to be kind of out of his wits, probably fresh off his disgusting honeymoon. We should leave some kind of a booby trap or something.
Just something in the chair that'll sit on?
I don't know. We could brainstorm on this. Okay. But again, thanks, dude. Thanks for helping us out. Thanks for being a real cool cat here in the building.
Thank you to the Brotherhood for not just completely smoking me all week.
Very nice text coming in. Deservedly so.
I really had a lot of fun with people who texted in and said, whose voice is that? And I would text back and say, I have no idea.
That was fun. I liked that.
What new voice? I have no... Shout-outs, Cubby?
Yeah, plenty of them before we go here. Our best to our pal, Type 1 Cop Jesus. I know, Ashley, you were friends with him as well. Sadly, he has to put down his very good boy, Louie. He said that Louie spent a lot of his time listening to the podcast. So
God dang.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Very sorry to hear that news. Our thoughts are with you guys today. Congratulations to mediocre at best trucker Jesus, 11 years sober today, and he wants to shout out everyone struggling with addiction and says sobriety can be done. Happy 18th to Anime from Mom and Dad, NWO Jesus. Happy birthday to the incredible Felicia from your husband, Concrete Cowboy Jesus. This text says, can I get a birthday shout out for my little brother, Josh? Hardworking young man, got his own contracting business, doing great. Happy birthday, little bro. And thank you again, Derek. Our program director, Derek Madden, stepped in to help us out these last few days. And to everybody else, have a great weekend.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You gotta be kidding me. Who greenlit this garbage?
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.